Kneel Before Blog presents Kneel Before Pod.
Hello and welcome to the Kneel Before Pod 300th episode spectacular. I'm your host Craig and we have a great show for you tonight. There'll be conversations, there'll be games, and maybe even a surprise or two. Viewers can join in at any time in the comments. We have got some keen eyes monitoring Twitch and YouTube for your input, so please do make yourself known. Ask us questions, comment, just be part of this. Now I'm going to introduce you to the team joining me to celebrate this. First up, we have the man on all the buttons, pressing all the buttons to make this happen. It's Chris. Hello.
Oh, hello. There we go. Hello.
He has pressed a button. There we go.
Actual button pressing live.
Yep. Also here, we have the shameless, profit-driven corporate stooge himself. It's Angus.
Cheers. Happy 300.
Also, we have someone who will defend Marvel's Eternals until her dying breath. It's Kat.
In fact, I am ready to do this right now.
Maybe later.
Challenge accepted.
Next up, the biggest Doctor Who, Captain Marvel, and Now You See Me fan that you're ever likely to find. Nothing else, though. He doesn't like anything else. Isaac, hello.
Well, hello, everyone. Yes, I'm very excited for Now You See Me, Now You Don't, which arrives a mere 4 days before my birthday. So, big plans. It'll be an excellent birthday in a few months' time.
And last, but by no means least, the man still on the lookout for dance numbers everywhere he goes. Will he find some tonight? We don't know. It's Aaron.
Better, yeah. That's what I'm here for. Without it, I'm out. I'm gone.
We may have false promises to get you people here. So, 300 regular format episodes. Not actually 300 episodes for eagle-eyed listeners who count, but 300 regular format episodes. So we're going to start with our first talking point where we're just going to remember and reflect on stuff. We're going to see what people can actually remember. Over the last 100 episodes, what do people remember from them? What's your favourite things? Who wants to jump in first?
I remember nothing.
Well, there we go.
Nothing, I tell you. I was never here.
Well, Aaron has set the standard. Maybe someone else can remember anything?
A similar experience where I was looking back through the last 100 and thinking, how far does this stretch? What have we done? And I was surprised by how many specials we've covered from Star Wars and Alien Day and First Contact. I was looking back and back and back all the way back to 2022, covered in the last 100 episodes.
Where we finished all of the Alien movies.
We've had maybe one or two ups and quite a few downs.
Yes, the Alien franchise has been massively diminishing returns since the second one.
Haven't you got another one coming? Isn't there a new thing coming out? Is it Predator or something?
There's Alien Earth, the TV show that's on this year.
Oh, right.
So that'll be next year. And then we'll get back to Predator 2, maybe the year after. Depends if Disney do anything in the meantime.
I like that they're having to work really, really hard to keep up with the podcast and make sure that we've got content for Alien Day and Star Wars Day. Disney have really got to work hard to make sure there's content there for us.
When we run out of stuff, we'll be really reaching for stuff. Anything that has an alien in it will do eventually.
Don't worry, the guys in corporate have worked out a deal.
Lilo and Stitch is part of Alien Day.
Yeah, could be. There's maybe an alien reference. I haven't seen it.
Or will it just be full Inception at that point? You'll be reviewing your podcast of the first film.
Maybe. We'll just go back and revisit the first movie.
I enjoyed talking about the chairs. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, the chairs. Marvel chairs.
Quite recently, the big Marvel chair, big chair chat. That was really entertaining.
Where you watched it for almost the entire run of the stream, didn't you?
Well, I had it on the side of my coffee machine until my phone died, and then I was just working for another hour. Absolutely no idea what chair could be next. It was a tense hour. Anything could be happening.
I'm missing 3 chairs.
I was exactly missing 3 chairs at the end because, as we all remember, the chairs were revealed very slowly.
Yeah, every 15 or so minutes.
It was quite a wild ride. It's the most exciting Marvel thing it's been for a while. Series of rotating chairs.
Yeah.
How long did their stream of the chairs go?
I didn't join in at the start. It did go for about 5 hours or something silly. And I think I joined in for the final 2 because the chairs was trending and people were talking about what's the chairs doing? And I got drawn in very quick.
What's the new chairs? What's the new chairs, everyone? There must be new chairs somewhere.
What are the chairs going to do next?
What's the next chair going to say? Will there actually be someone sitting in the next one? Nope, just an empty chair with a name on it.
I do think in that podcast you made the very good point of, are we going to see more of the chair than we are of the actor in these particular films? And I think the answer is definitely yes.
I think in some cases, yeah. Well, in a lot of cases, we're going to get less than 15 minutes of screen time. Any other big memories?
One that I wasn't a part of, but I enjoyed listening to, was Aaron's reinvention of the format with turning D&D into the podcast and getting some D20 rolling going on. I like the upending of the format. I'm all for change.
I did enjoy doing that. One of my biggest memories of that, though, is on the first game and the first role we played, Craig complained it was unfair. And I thought, oh, great, let's set this up. It's all over from here. I'm pleased that did, in fact, work out in the end, because it started badly.
I don't know. That seems accurate to the format. Players complaining to the DM.
Well, I suppose so, yeah.
We'd have been wrong otherwise.
Yeah, I like that one. Do we have any more excuses to have another adventure? Is there another D&D movie coming out? Or just something else that we could have another Choose Your Own podcast?
There's a few D&D things in the pipeline, isn't there? There's a TV series and something else. So I imagine they won't give it up, even though they didn't bother promoting the last one.
Hard to believe they're going to go anywhere, though, with the state that Wizards is in at the moment. Assuming it's still Wizards that are doing it all, because they're just hemorrhaging talent, crucifying properties. How on earth they're going to turn it around, I have no idea.
We'll find out. But yes, there's always excuses to do things. We don't need a huge excuse.
Right, well, I'll do you another adventure. Yeah, you just pick your film and we'll do it. Go back to some of the old stuff like Krull and so on. Real forgotten classics.
We could talk about that original D&D movie you love so much.
Oh, my God. Yeah, let's find all the ways I hate that. That's a good thing. Yeah. Let's start with Jeremy Irons. Can I say that? Is that unfair? No, it isn't.
I just know that Jimmy Olsen from The New Adventures of Superman's in it.
That did not save it. Not even close.
I don't know if he's ever saved anything in his life, but he was in it, and I do remember it.
I tell you what the last 100 has been for me, by the way, just on a search on the website. I'm going through them, and it seems to be a stream of misery. You've invited me onto far more things that were, okay, I have to be nice about this, things I did not like more than things that were good. So I guess that's it.
Batman was nice. Was Batman in the last 100? We had a nice chat about that.
I think it's just in the last 100. I think it's 203 or something.
Just, okay, I'll add that to the list. Okay, Batman. Oh, it's starting to balance out a bit. Okay, it's about 60-40 then.
At least it's not the infernal ratio, 52-48.
I don't know that reference.
If we were doing the old show titles thing that we used to do, A Stream of Misery would be the title of this podcast.
Honestly, yeah, I'm looking through the episodes that I've been on in the last couple of years, and it's, yeah, that was garbage, and that was garbage, and the other thing was garbage, and it's mostly me being like, it's garbage, and us analyzing things for ages and ages.
It's good to get it out of your system, though, and sometimes it almost reinforces it for you going, oh, thank God someone else saw the same film as me. Because sometimes you read reviews online or you hear people talking about certain films and you go, what did they watch? What did they see? You go into work on the Monday morning and they go, I went to see that Madam Web the other day and, oh, I really enjoyed it. Oh, it was cracking, that was. And you sit there and go, what happened? What did you say? I don't understand. So it's always nice to have these discussions and go deeper into why we didn't like something as well, not just flat out coming out and going, no, hated it.
Well, as you well know, I had a great time with Madam Web. I didn't like it, but I had an amazing time. It was so much fun.
We could forget the Ewok movies for our Star Wars special 2023.
God. Yeah. I've never watched a short film in so many bursts. Those were a slog. It was one of those things where it's, let's do the Ewok movies. That'll be a fun thing to do next year. And then you're actually sitting watching them and you're like, why did we suggest this? Some things just aren't funny at all. It was not good.
They should do more Ewok movies.
Hot take.
Star Wars budget now, Disney budget, where they're wanting to make more content on the cheap. Bet they could make a ton of Ewok movies on the cheap.
I suppose they could, but should they?
No FaceTime for the Ewoks, the royalty payments that they don't want to give. Save themselves a ton of money. Corporate Angus is with me on this one.
Yeah, I'm on board.
They've already had 2 movies. That's 2 more movies than a lot of Star Wars characters.
It was the good old days.
Apparently. When George Lucas is trying to make holiday specials and Ewok movies and no one wants to watch them. We have not covered the holiday special, and I don't imagine we ever will.
No, never say never.
That'd be more a Christmas thing, though, wouldn't it? But Star Wars Day is not at Christmas, fortunately.
It's Christmas Day all the time in Star Wars land. All those planets have different orbits, different winters, and it was a long time ago and far, far away. Who's to know where Christmas was in Star Wars land? Yeah,
or is it Life Day? It's not.
It's Life Day.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Because it's like, what is Christmas in a galaxy far away where Christ isn't a thing?
It's just Life Day. It's Life Day somewhere. at all times, and maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. My memories are just the deeper dive stuff into some of the terrible things, like Madam Web I already mentioned, and we also had The Flash, which I thought was a really fun discussion, even though I really didn't like the movie, and Picard Season 3. I really needed the Picard Season 3 one because I disliked it so much that I had to get it all out there. Took a very long time, Aaron may remember, but we did it. And also within the last 100 episodes, got to finally stop talking about the TV show The Flash. It got its final kick-in. It's not even close to its final kick-in, but its final format episode kick-in. That was nice and cathartic. We may come back to some more memories as we go, but shall we do our first game? We have some games that we're going to play tonight.
And do.
Random.org, the website that never stops giving, chose this one. It's not a sponsor, though. Aaron, you're up first with your game.
I'm up. All right. This is MC Us, and it requires a picture of us that was taken after a certain sports event that was then turned into, I can't even describe it, but I need to describe it. Craig, help me describe it.
It is us as chosen Marvel characters.
Pictures on the screen now, so for those that can't see it, we have got, obviously, our fearless leader, Craig, as Captain America himself. We have then got the man who lives to challenge him, which is Angus as Iron Man. Did you really pick that out when you chose that? Who knows? Chris, of course, is Doctor Strange, our Sorcerer Supreme, doing all of our magical tech. Isaac is Loki, our multiversal trickster, struggling with his own evil. I don't know. Isaac, do you struggle with your own evil?
I don't think so.
Well, okay, he's obviously turned a good leaf. And of course, Kat, who is Thor, her heritage bringing the wisdom of ancient civilization. Whichever civilization you want to pick.
Sure. I have no Nordic heritage, but I'll take it.
But that's why I said ancient civilization. Don't you have connections?
I note what you did there, yes.
I thought so. I thought you might sneak that one in, but no. Okay, let's carry on. First round is all in. Everybody is to answer questions on your multiversal identity as that superhero. So embrace who you are. That is you. You need to know you. Kat needs to know Thor, and so on and so on and so on. So I'm going to make a statement, and if you think that statement is true for you, you put your hand up. If that statement is false for you, keep your hand down. That's all you got to do. Hand up, hand down, hand up, hand down. That's all you need to be able to do. Do you need a test go, or do you think you've got it?
I think we've got it. Well, I've got it.
You think you've got it? Okay. That's the one thing I know about these events. Keep it really simple. Unfortunately, the multiverse is a multiverse of madness, so I appreciate that things get different in the multiverse. I don't really care. We're just going to figure it out as we go. So, as of Brave New World, I am alive. Hands up if you agree with that. Hands down if you disagree with that.
In alive.
Like I said, multiversal stuff, I don't care. Just pick an answer.
Probably not. I'll do hands down.
Who's got their hands up and down? Doctor Strange is alive. Point to Chris.
Yay.
Thor is alive. Point to Kat. Captain America is dead. No points to Craig.
He's not been confirmed dead. He's just old.
No, he's dead. I don't care about the multiversal nonsense. He's definitely dead. He was old. He went back into the past, and he got even older. He is dead. That's a Brave New World.
Our canon is written. Done.
If you're prepared to tell me that he definitely made it to 140 or whatever he is, and you've got genetic evidence for it, I'll give you the point. But I'm afraid otherwise, nope. No points to that. Chris is, I think, going to give us some scores potentially at some point. Don't have to do it right away, but I'm just going to ask, are you keeping track of the scores, or do I need to in the old-fashioned way?
I've got one. Craig's got nothing. Who else did you issue points to?
I issued points to Kat and Angus, and I now need to come to the trickster Loki. To be perfectly honest, if you'd have put your hand up or down, I'd have given you a point because Loki's just the trickster madness, so you were safe.
Yeah, we don't know.
Isaac gets a point.
I would say he's alive.
A version of him is, anyway.
I would have said that too.
He's in a big tree.
He's alive somewhere at the center of the multiverse, holding all the timelines together. So not only is he alive, he is the crux of everything. So without him, the rest of us die.
Fair enough. In that case, yeah. Give the man his point for keeping their multiverse alive, I think. I don't really care about making this fair. I was expecting Craig to say it was not fair, but who cares? Next one is, I have fought Loki hand to hand. Hands up if you've done that. Hands down if you haven't. Have you fought Loki hand to hand?
Has
And
Loki
I'm seeing
fought Loki hand to hand?
hands up from all the correct people. The only person that's not fought Loki hand to hand with any hanky-panky or otherwise is, of course, Doctor Strange. So points to everybody. Well done.
Does banishing him into an infinite
Yes.
loop for 20 minutes count?
Not hand to hand.
As long as you did it with your hands.
Well, he waved his hands.
He did, yeah.
But did he actually slap him to do it?
Don't think so.
Well, his hands are hurt, aren't they? You can't really slap. They're already quite fragile. So he's got to be careful.
No, I think Doctor Strange is okay with his point there. Next one, number 3. I was blipped. If you were blipped, put your hand up. Everybody seems to know themselves very well. Points to everybody again. Doctor Strange is the only one who's blipped.
I got fat. I didn't get blipped.
That's true.
All that COVID weight.
Yeah.
And Loki was already dead.
But again, Loki, you could argue different universes. There's too many of him, but what can you do? Number 4, I play by the rules.
Define more.
I will not define play by the rules. You need to know what it means because you know yourself that well. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I got Loki and Thor have put their hands up. Everybody else is not.
Loki's always trapped in their own tricks, aren't they? That's kind of their downfall.
Loki literally always cheats.
It's always cheating.
But that's the rule. Yeah.
That's his playbook, though. He's the god of that.
Okay, Isaac doesn't want a point, so take that away from him. He just doesn't want it. That's totally fine. I have to go with that. Iron Man never plays by the rules. He always breaks the rules. What is it? He would cut the wire. What's the quote from Avengers? Give me the quote from Avengers about making the play. And he says, I would just cut the wire.
That is the quote.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but it was really poorly delivered by me, so I thought somebody might do it better.
He even sat on that chair that time. Nobody else was sat on the chair, but Iron Man sat on his chair, which is absolutely not the rules, as we discovered over 5 hours.
Well, that was more Doctor Doom, wasn't it?
We don't know. Film's not out yet. Might be a trick. It might be Iron Man again.
I've got Doctor Strange doesn't play by the rules because of Spider-Man, and quite frankly, he always stole all the books, even when Wong told him he shouldn't.
Gave away the whole time stone. That was the one rule. Don't give away the time stone.
That's it, yeah. There's nothing there. And I've also put Thor doesn't play by the rules, and now I can't remember why. Damn it.
So the way I'm seeing it is he has a certain power that has limitations and rules and whatever as to how much he can use it, and Mjolnir and whatever. I suppose to a certain extent, some of the space shenanigans are not entirely by the rules, strictly speaking.
He was supposed to be king and decided not to be.
I've just realised what it was. He breaks the rules at the start when he goes against the rules of his father. He learns to be above board.
Yeah.
But at the very start, he doesn't. So I said Thor has, at some point, never broken the rules. It's only Cap. And we were potentially going to have Drax here with us, but Drax can't make it tonight.
I would say Cap has broken the rules.
Yeah, Sokovia Accords.
Right? And not just that.
He told his past self Bucky was alive, so he could kick him. That's against all the rules of time.
Yeah, Winter Soldier. That's an entire movie of Cap being like, Hydra's infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. They're not to be trusted. I'm going to do whatever I want.
He doesn't even swear. Come on. He's so innocent.
I don't think you need to swear to break the rules.
He does eventually.
I went with he always obeys the higher rule. He always was true to what he thought was the rule above the foolish, silly rules of authority.
Hang on, there's grades of rule?
Well, you can justify anything by that.
I had a higher rule then.
Yeah, then everyone's gone by their own rules.
Oh, the game's falling apart.
Did I not start this whole game with, I don't care about your arguments about multiverses and not? This is not fair. This isn't supposed to be fair.
I think Aaron's the one not playing by the rules.
Yeah, hang on.
Yeah, okay. Chris, take a point off me. I lose a point, Chris. All right? All right.
Which Marvel person were you?
Is he not Drax?
Andrew was Drax. Aaron's the Hulk.
Oh, so you're the Hulk. Okay, we can trust the Hulk, I think. Because I was thinking if he'd picked another shady character, if his one was the Red Skull or something, you're like, well, he's asking these questions, but we shouldn't really listen to him because he's a Red Skull. But I think if he's the Hulk, then we can kind of play along.
Hulk smash. You don't agree, Hulk smash. Right, last one in this. I was identified as a target by Zola's algorithm. Do you agree or disagree? I was identified as a target by Zola's algorithm.
We have a clue as which film that was.
Winter Soldier.
It was, in fact, Winter Soldier.
I don't think either of us were on the planet.
I don't even understand the question.
I think Loki and I are safe.
I will help you. Did Hydra want to kill you? Did Hydra think you were a threat?
I'm trying to think if my character had been introduced at that point to put on the screen.
He may have been mentioned.
I'm kind of tentative.
Currently, everybody is correct, so snapshot that. The 3 humans were, in fact, identified, and the 2 gods weren't on the planet, and I don't think Hydra could see that far. Maybe if they could, they would have done, but they couldn't, so they didn't. I will now ask Doctor Strange to tell me the scores after round 1 of 3. I've got 2 more, but after round 1 of 3... Isaac, we don't know. I'm on the scoreboard at -1. Fair enough. In my own quiz, I'm definitely losing. That seems perfectly reasonable. So for the audio, Chris has 5 points and Angus has 5 points. So Iron Man and Doctor Strange definitely know who they are. Thor mostly knows who he is. So does Captain America. 4 points both. And Isaac with Loki could be 3 points, could be 4. We're not going to worry about it because Loki wouldn't anyway. So he'll just cheat and give himself 16 points afterwards. Moving on to round 2. This is the round where you have a spotlight. You all get one question, but you can choose what question you would like. You can have an easy question about yourself, which will score you 1 point, but I'm hoping it'll be pretty easy. Except for Craig, that I've made it slightly harder because he really knows a lot more than everybody else. Nonetheless, it's the easy question. For 3 points, you can have a really difficult, totally unfair question, but it does give you 3 points. Or for 2 points, you can act out one of the lines that you spoke in one of the films provided by me, and I want to hear good voice, I want to give good interpretation of character, and I want to see it in your face. For 2 points. Now, I have to come to fearless leader first. Captain America, you have to lead this ragtag bunch. Would you like an easy question, a ridiculous question, or would you like to be Captain America?
I'll go for the ridiculous question.
Oh, go for the impression.
Let's go for the ridiculous question for the solid 3 points. You'll probably even get it. But here we go. How many actors played you in live action before Chris Evans?
In live action before Chris Evans.
How many actors played you in live action before Chris Evans?
I'm going to say 2.
You are incorrect. I cannot award you any points, but I will allow the steal for the first person to yell out their own superhero name.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange said it. Yeah, okay, Doctor Strange.
3?
Correct. 3 points to Doctor Strange for answering the ridiculously hard Captain America question.
How many points do I get for that? Sorry.
You got 3 points for that.
Who were they? And in what?
They were Dick Purcell in 1944, Reb Brown, who played it twice in 1979, and Matt Salinger in 1990. I must confess I don't know any of them, but nonetheless, that was what my research was.
I just went one higher.
Completely reasonable way of doing it.
There was no scientific method involved whatsoever.
I did say it was a ridiculously hard question. It was totally not fair. What can you do?
Craig is going to steal all our easy answers, by the way. That's where he's going to get all the points.
Maybe so. The person who will challenge Craig then is, of course, Iron Man. Iron Man, would you like an easy question? Would you like a ridiculously difficult question, which isn't quite as ridiculously difficult as it was for Captain America? Or would you like to be you for the next 30 seconds?
I feel like I have to go for the ridiculously difficult question in effort to keep up with Doctor Strange.
Completely reasonable. I actually have 2 questions for you, and so I'm going to give you a choice. Would you like a question about your wardrobe, or would you like a question about your finances?
Oh, well, normally I would go for finances every day of the week, but I'm feeling frisky, so let's go wardrobe.
Wardrobe. What T-shirt do you wear throughout the Avengers? What's on your T-shirt throughout the Avengers?
A Black Sabbath T-shirt.
It is a Black Sabbath T-shirt. 3 points to Iron Man. Maybe that was too easy, too late. Never mind. Let's not worry about it. I wonder if you could get your financial question, so I'm going to ask it to you anyway. What's your social security number as far as you're concerned?
1.
It's actually pretty close. It's 5. So you weren't that far off. That's what you guessed.
Okay. Got to remember that.
But nonetheless, you got your 3 points, so it's fine. Right. Doctor Strange, the man himself with all the magical powers. You can have an easy question. You can be yourself on camera for the benefit of chat, or you can have a ridiculously difficult question.
Sorry, chat. I'm going to go for the difficult question.
It's kind of the difficult question. Fair enough. Though you did not create the Avengers, of which group were you the founder in the comics?
Ooh.
Although you did not create the Avengers, of which group were you the founder in the comic? I do feel like Craig would probably be able to steal this one.
I have no idea. I think this is where Craig comes in and steals.
In which case, I need someone to say the name of their superhero.
Captain America.
Captain America says...
Was it the Defenders?
He did, in fact, form the Defenders in the comics, so it's a steal of 3 points back. Well done, Captain America.
The Defenders is the most ridiculous power level team you can imagine. It is Doctor Strange, the Silver Surfer, and the Hulk.
Should have got that. I should have just guessed Defenders as the only one that had been on screen. It wasn't the X-Men, was it, Chris? I could have got that one right.
Did do well by guessing before, so yeah, sometimes it's worth throwing it out there. I haven't done negative points, so could have been, but unfortunately... we have to move on to our trickster god. We have to ask, of course, easy question. Be yourself, or ridiculously difficult question?
I'll try the difficult one.
Oh, fair play. Everybody's really going for it. That's commitment. I like it. What surname were you born with? What surname were you technically born with?
Lofeson, wasn't it?
I'm going to give you that. I don't think it's quite the correct pronunciation, but I'll give it to you. I think it's perfectly reasonable to be fair under that. I think Laufeyson.
Or is it Laufeyson of Niflheim? Is it Niflheim?
Jotunheim.
Is that his, or is it Jotunheim?
Yeah. I'm not going to quibble pronunciation.
It's the cold one.
Yeah, the cold place is good enough. That's good enough for 3 points.
Either way, the way you say it sounds adorable, and I want to go there on my holidays. It sounds like it would be next to the Cotswolds.
It sounded a lot nicer, yeah.
Pretty cold, though. Wrap up warm.
Leaving us only with our remaining god. Do gods like to stick with a ridiculously difficult question, the easy question, or is somebody going to take up my challenge and be themselves on camera?
All right. I'm going to do the challenge, but I also want a difficult question. I want both.
You want both? Okay, well, I'll give you points for one. Which one do you want the points for? And then we'll do the other one as well.
The difficult question.
Right. In order to break it up there, I want to hear either I went for the head or do I look to be in a gaming mood? You've got to give me one of those. I want screen presence. I want the voice.
Yes. Okay. I got it. Do I look to be in a gaming mood?
I think that's worth 3 points, actually. I think that's actually worth the 3 points. I think we should award that.
Excellent.
As well, because you're the only one that took up my challenge, so it was worth the extra point there.
Oh, why, thank you very much. Now, hit me with a hard question.
But for the honor of showing that you do know your own self throughout 1,000 and more years of history, in which films do you wear a winged helmet of some form?
The first Thor movie?
That is correct, but that is not the only one.
It's not, no. And the other one is, I want to say Thor Ragnarok.
Is that what you're going to say, or is that just what you want to say?
Thor Ragnarok.
You are correct. In Thor 1 and, of course, Ragnarok, you wear a winged helmet, even though one of them was forced upon you by a hideous Grandmaster. You did wear it.
Doesn't he have a winged helmet in the fourth one?
Yeah, I thought he did as well.
Oh,
Loki, always causing trouble.
I have erased that movie from my memory.
well, that's perfectly reasonable.
As per the 3-hour chat that we had on this podcast.
There's 2 Thors, though. So is it the goddess of thunder who has the winged helmet? Or is it Thor Odinson who has the helmet?
I think he turns up with a winged helmet at some point.
There's certainly a movie picture of it.
Oh, let's get the movie on.
Yeah, let's just watch that, Mel.
Yeah.
But anyway, who cares?
That'll fill the next 2 hours.
She was the only one of you who did the right thing and was herself on camera, so who cares about the winged helmets? That's not anywhere near as important.
Would you have been the Hulk on camera?
Yeah, do a Hulk.
I don't have to play such nonsense.
I'll answer a difficult question about the Hulk.
You can challenge me with that later, but I need Doctor Strange to give me the scores for the end of round 2.
The scores, yes, I can. And here we go.
For the benefit of the audio, Doctor Strange and Iron Man are leading on 8 points. Captain America and Thor potentially have second place on 7 points, but nobody really knows about the god who is a trickster, who may have 6 points, may have 7. He talked himself out of his own 7th point because he wanted to be in last place. And I, of course, losing because I got -1. I can't even remember why, but I don't know myself.
You could get 2 points for being the Hulk, though.
I could, but I'm not going to do that because you don't want this game to last forever. That would be nonsense. The final round is open gaming. The clue is there are 5 questions. That is your clue. For the final round, the clue is there are 5 questions, and I need you to be fastest name first. So the person who says their name first is going to answer. And the first question is, and by the way, we're down to the easy questions. Somebody has been played by Matt Damon. Who are they? Who is played by Matt
Thor.
Damon? Thor, my answer.
It was Thor.
That is not the correct
Oh, it's Loki.
answer.
It's Loki. Loki is played by Matt Damon.
I'm afraid we can't accept a second answer, so I have to go to Captain America.
It was Loki.
It was, in fact, Loki, who was played by Matt Damon. Point to Fearless Leader. Okay, let's cross that one off. The next question. Who has tortured somebody with their likeness to Adele, Eminem, and Beyonce?
Captain America.
Captain America, my answer.
Was it Doctor Strange? He said about Wong.
Doctor Strange tortured Wong with that, yes. People who have only one name, bringing Wong amongst them. Another point to Captain America. Which one of you reconnected with your country by eating a cheeseburger?
Iron Man.
Iron Man, may answer.
Iron Man.
It is, in fact, Iron Man. He does know himself. think that should be worth a second point, actually, just for knowing your own answer. So 2 points to Iron Man there. Which one of you both does not and yet also does appear in Thor Dark World? One of you both
Loki.
does and does not. Loki may answer.
Is it Thor?
I'm afraid Thor does appear. It does not appear.
Seeing as Thor got my namesake question, I thought if I answer mine, it'll be Thor, and the balance will switch over.
There's a perfectly reasonable Loki way of thinking about it, but I can't award a point. I have to open it to other people.
Captain America.
Captain America.
It was Captain America.
It was Captain America, who appears in the film, and yet he was, in fact, Loki rather than himself. So he also wasn't in the film. So you did get your own question. 2 points for that. The last question coming up. So in theory, you all know the answer to this. Who lost their right eye fighting Hela?
Thor.
Okay.
Thor, my answer.
It was Thor.
It was, in fact, Thor. You do know yourself. 2 points to Thor. Doctor Strange, can we have the final scores, please? Who knows themselves best? It turns out Iron Man and Captain America, the two leaders of the Civil War, know themselves the best. Pat yourselves on the back for your excellent self-knowledge. Thor only missed the one. 9 points. Does know him, herself pretty well. Sorcerer Supreme was doing well, fell away, down to 8 points.
Doing so well.
And who really knows how many points Loki, the god of tricks, actually got? No one will really know. And I will take last place on -1 point. That is MCU Us. Back to Craig.
That was a great game. Thank you. We all thoroughly enjoyed that one. It was a lot of fun.
I wish more if you had done the ones of yourself on camera there.
Yeah, but we're in front of an audience and there's anxiety.
People aren't brave enough.
Yeah, definitely. I don't have Captain America's courage.
You could do it. I believe in you. I believe in all of you. I am the one with the acting chops in this Zoom call.
I am not. I did drama at Higher, and that was the last time I tried. Although I did do some stupid voice work for transitions between things.
Podcast segments?
Yeah. My acting days are over. Okay, next on the agenda, we're going to have another talking point, and we're going to hear from someone who's not here, the newest member of our team, Bo from Australia. He couldn't be here this morning, his time, or tomorrow morning, his time, as far as we're concerned, over here in the Northern Hemisphere. Chris, can you play Bo's audio clip and we'll listen to see what he has to say?
Hello, Craig. Hello, KBP crew. Hello, KBP audience. This is Bo Nicholson, the official Australian correspondent of Kneel Before Pod. Yes, I did just give myself a title without asking Craig. Let's see if he approves. Anyway, I'm very, very sorry that I can't be there for this. My schedule simply won't allow it, especially with the time zone difference. So very, very sad that I can't be a part of the 300th episode. What? 300? What? You heard correctly. 300 episodes of Kneel Before Pod. A hearty congratulations to the crew. A special congratulations to Craig, who does the lion's share of the work and really drives this project. So congratulations to you, Craig, as well. You asked for a talking point? I've got one for you. I went to watch the quote live action remake end quote of How to Train Your Dragon the other day. It's directed by Dean DeBlar, who is the co-director with Chris Sanders of the original. And I was thoroughly underwhelmed by the whole thing. And I heard that he was basically forced to do it. Well, not really forced, but they were going to make the film without him. And he thought, well, I may as well try and retain some of the magic if I am part of this project and helm the project myself. So he directed the remake. And I've got bad news. He doesn't really capture the magic. And we all know why this is happening. It's money, right? But the question I have for everybody, do these fairly crappy remakes compared to the original at the very least make the original worse in your eyes? Because for me it does. The reason is, it doesn't actually change the original, of course, we know that, but it peels the curtain back a little bit about the process, because when you have a fantastic movie like How to Train Your Dragon in 2010, you sit there and think, wow, magic has happened. Creative people have been allowed to be creative, and that's all it is. And everybody's on the same team, and they're all punching above their weight, and they're nailing it, and the creativity is off the chain, and they've made a masterpiece. Wow, amazing, it's magic. And you feel the magic when you're in the cinema watching it or at home on DVD or streaming. And then you watch this and you go, well, was it money making the entire time? Quite a cynical process, the studio business of making money. And was it just money making the whole time? Probably not for Chris Sanders, probably not for Dean DeBlar, probably not for a bunch of creatives, but certainly for the studio. And it just sort of kills the magic a little bit for me. I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts. Congratulations again, especially to Craig, and I'll talk to you again soon.
So our talking point is, does live-action remakes of animated films make the original worse, which I'd never really thought about before. Thanks, Bo, for the contribution. We do miss you here. We wish you were here, even though it's very early tomorrow morning in Australia. We would love it if you were awake and playing along with us. Let's open it to the floor then. Kat, you definitely have strong opinions about these live-action remakes, so let's start with you.
Boy, I do. I can see how it taints the original a little bit. I also have very cynical views about all of these remakes, in particular with Disney. Less so, perhaps, other ones, but How to Train Your Dragon also is. It's a shot-for-shot remake of a movie that's pretty good, and you're just copying your own homework from yourself. So I'm definitely cynical towards that one also, but I don't think that it makes the original worse. The original will always be there, and it will always be as good as it ever was. Whether or not it taints your opinion or your feelings towards the original, and maybe you don't want to watch it again, fair. But the original Lion King, still a masterpiece. Am I going to ever watch the live action quote unquote remake? I watched it the once and I hated myself for it. So no, but it doesn't make the original any less of a masterpiece. Lilo and Stitch, same. Most of the Disney ones, in fact, are pretty great animated movies, and they remain still pretty great, I think. So it taints, I think, mostly my view of media, generally speaking, and the megacorps that own all of the media nowadays. It makes you aware that these things are products that we're meant to buy. And every cinema ticket, every Blu-ray sale, every stream, every subscription is you putting that in their little piggy bank. It's late capitalism made very manifest and very apparent. And it can make you feel a little gross. But all those films are still pretty great, I think.
The one thing that's handy for me is because I'm not a reviewer, so I have to watch. If it doesn't look good, I still watch it, which is great. But I've seen the Lion King one. I've also seen the Lion King Broadway stage performance when it was in Edinburgh Playhouse, and that was amazing. And that is essentially live action. Well, it's entirely live action because it's physically there, but it's in costumes and stuff. And that's also amazing. It's different, but it uses so much creative ways to do so. Sure, with lots of things, a live action remake of something, people can understand why people get soured on. I know Lilo and Stitch has come out, and I'm not saying the original or the remake, but I know some people are upset because certain things have been taken, some characters have been taken out. I think something's been changed around. But it's not that different to say gratuitous sequel things. The same argument would be like, well, if they're making more Star Wars, as much Star Wars as they can, does that take away the shine on the Star Wars you loved before it sort of spiraled out of control? Or would another mediocre Marvel movie take the shine off memories of watching your favourite Marvel movie? So I don't know if it's so much it's live action remakes that are this cynical money-making thing that's taking the shine off things. I think sometimes it's more, or at the moment it's, if ideas run out, it's easy to get a bit bored with things, or if everything's feeling a bit desperate or a bit running out of steam, which is probably a bit more damaging. Because obviously live-action remakes at the moment, it's, or at least as far as I'm aware, it's mostly Disney things. How to Train Your Dragon wasn't a Disney, I don't think.
No, it's DreamWorks.
Lion King, Lilo and Stitch, Jungle Book, all those ones. Like, it's sort of the progenitor of it. The ones you say live-action remake things, you'd think like the Disney classics being reimagined, and most of it just being a kind of grey version that's just not as pretty. And for some people, that might be their first Lion King, it might be their first Lilo and Stitch, it might be their first 101 Dalmatians, and they might absolutely love it and then go watch the other one and be like, oh, I'd actually prefer the live one. So I guess it depends on this perspective. I didn't get round to it, but I think what would be more fun is being that person, even though in my 30s now, but not seeing Lilo and Stitch. If I went to the cinema and watched Lilo and Stitch live action, then it'd be the flip, because usually you expect the story beats is following the same pattern. So if I had watched Lilo and Stitch, I know what's coming and I know the story. But if I watched it for the first time with this new interpretation and then went and watched the classic one, that'd be kind of fun counter-argument against the reverse thing, because it's a rare opportunity where I'm now experiencing the flip, seeing the remake first, in the same way that everyone's seen The Thing, but not many people have bothered to watch the 50s one, which is just Man on Fire or whatever. Does it take the shine off? Depends film to film, because not every one is the same. Some are just rubbish. Some might have some quite inventive thing that they've brought in. People quite liked Aladdin, I think. People had some detractors, but the general mood was, oh, this is a better go at it, because it's got a bit of freshness, so it feels a bit different. So I think it can't be put on everything. And cynicism is just, money needs to be made. So we got to do it. But in the same way that I sell coffee all day, you can do that at home. You don't have to come to me and pay £4. But you do. That's just money, I suppose. But I think it does depend. I think it's not something that you can blanket say it takes the shine off. It is entirely the content, the quality of either the remake film or ones that have spiraled off to Final Destination 6 and Jurassic Park 7-ish, I think. So I think it can just depend on individual ones.
For me, it doesn't taint the original at all because it is still there. If I have a bad experience watching the live action remake, then I can just go back and watch the original and cleanse myself a little bit. But in terms of How to Train Your Dragon, I felt like that was a different beast to the Disney stuff because I felt like there was actually some effort put into the How to Train Your Dragon one. Yes, it was shot by shot almost, although they did boost Astrid's character a little bit. They gave her more to do than they did in the original, which I thought was a nice choice. And the director in marketing, whether it's true or not, talked about how it was his second go to make a better version of the thing that he did before. Again, that might just be what he was saying because he was forced into making it, so to speak. But I thought there was effort put in, whereas I didn't get that vibe from any of the recent Disney ones I watched. Snow White, I don't feel like anybody was trying in that movie. I forget what other recent ones I've even seen, but I didn't feel like there was much effort there, whereas, like I say, How to Train Your Dragon, I did. Although they did ruin the iconic test flight sequence by making it just a blurry mess, which is bizarre. It's the one thing you need to get right in this movie. It's what you need to achieve and you didn't do it. Well, I'm fed up of them like most people are, but How to Train Your Dragon is far from the worst example. And there's going to be the second one and probably the third one. So there we go.
I think I'm very on the record on the news pods every time the trailer for one of the Disney live action reworks appears. I was saying I'm not a big fan. I don't think it takes away from the original, but I genuinely believe if you put a little bit of marketing behind it and put the originals on screen, you would make all the money again. Because all the parents that are wanting to take their kids to see the live action version of the thing they loved when they were a kid would also turn up to the cinema and take their kid to see an animated Lilo and Stitch movie. And you would make a ton of money off the back of that. It would definitely work well for the cinemas. It would be hilarious for them to counter their own figure. In this one, we have the animation, and over there, we have the live action. Let's see what sells more tickets. Yeah, I don't think it takes away from it. Maybe it's nostalgia from my point of view of looking back on things that I love where I go, don't touch it, it's sacred text. You can't touch these things. But I wish they paid as much attention to the originals, did more re-releases and re-screenings. Maybe that's more something for cinemas to do rather than Disney themselves going out and doing it, because I think there's definitely something to be loved in these animations. I also saw How to Train Your Dragon. My Instagram feed is full of different clips telling me that I should see How to Train Your Dragon live action and also telling me to go to Universal Parks. So I think they've sold me on it now. I definitely want a Toothless of my own, even though it would be completely impractical in this flat. I think it was a different beast. I wouldn't say I hated it at all because it was a similar creative team behind it as the animation. I think it still had a lot of the heart behind it. And with these films, because they're so good the first time round, even if you're doing shot by shot, in theory, you should not end up with a bad film at the end. There's a reason that these are classics.
It's interesting to see this from an older perspective that I was given from a different podcast that I won't name because we're on this podcast, where they said that the pattern that Katz talked about at the very least of seeing the production behind it is something that repeats over years. This person said they were alive in the 70s and saw Star Wars appear. And Star Wars appeared during a period of we are just remaking the old stuff. Comes out of the 50s and the 60s. People loved all their Westerns and all these other films that were coming in, the war films and so on. And they just got repeated. And the producers were just giving the audiences more and more of the things they'd already seen. And apparently this cycle goes on for decades. And at the point where people become bored, they said the producers noticed something like 5 and 10 years later. And so after 5 or 10 years of people being bored, Star Wars was eventually given some money by a producer that said, I'm losing money on remakes. And it's really weird to see that corporate side of the production be so obvious. I think that's what Kat said. But the heartening thing about it is, when did we start to get bored? Just wait 5 or 10 more years and you'll start to get good films again, because that appears to be the pattern. So to answer the question, it doesn't detract from my enjoyment of the original, and it doesn't make me think of the corporate body behind the one I enjoyed, because I think you can take some faith that there are real artists out there creating good things who just need a bit of corporate backing to do something so big. It's just when that corporate side takes over, you've got a problem. But yeah, don't worry about it. It's just another wheel of life. Give you a Lion King reference and it will turn again. The second thing that I noticed I think comes off of what Chris said. There's a pattern of remaking stories in human history that goes back since stories were first created. There is always the retelling of stories updated to fit the needs of the current audience. Like the original Robin Hood was probably some guy who nicked a bunch of stuff and got rich. And the idea that those people telling the stories of this evil robber, looking at them now saying, he was a hero. He wasn't a hero. He was a total jerk. How have you made him a hero? But Robin Hood's been updated and updated. King Arthur has been updated and updated, potentially from a Roman soldier doing what Romans thought were good, all the way through the Romance period, and was given chivalry. And there's this weird thing that's happening at the moment, whereby the remakes are happening faster and faster, and the updating for the modern audience is happening at a speed when the previous audience is still alive and watching the same media. Normally, you waited for a generation to die off or stop watching cinema. I'm too old to go to the cinema. I'm just going to watch what I want, listen to the radio. But now, the previous generation of films is just like 3 years ago. You don't have time to move into a new audience and get this necessary update. So it's a strange thing that is actually very human, very natural, but the pace of life is outpacing our ability to move on. So I don't know if there's a natural endpoint to that, where there's literally a remake done by the AI every few months. But hopefully even that would have a cycle to it. And eventually people would get bored and tell the AI to give me something new for once. And will the AI be able to answer that? Well, we'll see. But nonetheless, yeah, it's an interesting, normal human process that has gone into weird overdrive.
Similar to the Pacific Rim equation of the kaiju events, isn't it? It started off every few months, and now it's every few weeks, and remakes are now coming once a week. That's the turnaround time for it now.
Yeah, or like when you make a really big lasagna, and you're like 5 days in, you're like, God, I hate lasagna. I'm really sick of it. It was so good initially, but now I do not want to go home from work to eat it. I suppose it's the same thing, but it just costs millions of pounds and ruins industries.
Spreadsheet says lasagna.
Thank you. Correct. The thing that I was going to say earlier, and it actually latches on to this point that Aaron made very eloquently, is that, yeah, we do have a tendency to retell stories, but usually in the retelling, there's something new. If we're just going to do it the same way, exactly, there's no point in retelling it, in my opinion. It's the same thing with work in theater in my day job, and I genuinely don't think that there's a reason to restage the same production over and over. When you bring it back, there should be something new, whether that's a new cast, a new updated script. We do Shakespeare, for example. If we've just had a fantastic Romeo and Juliet, maybe skip the next few years and don't just do Romeo and Juliet again. Or if you do, it better be extremely different and new and fresh and have something to say that will still manage to grab us. We are creatures of habit, and we love familiar stories for a reason. There's a great line in the Hadestown musical that says, it's a story that's familiar, but we keep telling it again and again because we hope that there will be a different ending. We know what the ending is, and it's not happy, and yet we are still driven to maybe explore it again. Maybe this time they won't make the mistake and they'll live happily ever after. It's a natural kind of hope. But it's the copying. It's what Aaron said about making a Moana live action movie when the original animated Moana is 6 years old. Do we need this? I don't think we need this. It's a cash grab. It's that sort of thing that's infuriating, in my opinion. It's fascinating to hear about the cycle of remakes and that being an old disease in Hollywood. And maybe this is the time that the superhero fatigue and the remake fatigue is going to set in, and we might get original stuff again. The thing about this industry is that there is art in it. And what people want is good, interesting, fun art. And yeah, things like the Fast and the Furious movies are art in their own weird way. And I just appreciate when the big blockbuster machine is able to churn out something good once in a while. At this point, it's a little rare, but I like it when it happens. I'd rather more of that, or more mid-budget. Bring back the cheaper movie. Bring back the thriller that doesn't need to cost $400 million to make. I miss the 90s. The 90s were a great time for an average, run-of-the-mill thriller movie that you could go see in cinemas. I miss that. Bring it back, please. That sort of thing. Everybody's just obsessed with making billions. And it's just hurting the industry, as Isaac said, in the process. That's the frustration. We want good stuff, is all we want.
It used to be kind of easy to tell if a movie was doing well, but now it might be like the new John Wick film made 600 million. And you're like, is that good?
That's a flop, yeah.
I don't know, is that good or bad? Like, you can sort of tell if it makes hundreds of millions or something, it's probably doing fine. But now, even stuff that you assume like Doom 2 or whatever, I was like, well, everyone's sort of seen it. Like, did it well? It's like, probably not. Probably didn't enough because it has to make an absolute absurd amount of money. It's impossible to know what the bar is where if something's done well or not. And I'm not sure if, because everything's fed into algorithms inside of budgets and why, so I think there might even be producers going into meetings on Monday. It might be doing fine. We've not run the numbers yet. But some people seem to talk about it, and loads of money's coming in, but we don't know if it's enough money because we haven't really been paying attention to how much money we've spent.
With the, as we record, upcoming Superman movie, Warner Brothers have said that they're basically hanging their entire year on whether that succeeds or not. That's a ridiculous position to be in, where your entire studio is hinging on the success of one film, and it's possibly one that will be not a risk, but it's probably going to get beaten by Jurassic World, is my prediction. I think that's going to be the winner in July. And then you have Thunderbolts Asterisk, the most recent, as we record, Marvel movie, and how that's not doing that well. It's critically doing quite well, but I think that studios have to wake up to the fact that your films aren't going to crack $1 billion anymore. 300-400 million is maybe the standard that you're aiming for now in terms of quote-unquote success. Of course, it's not a success if you've spent a couple $100 million more on making/marketing the thing, but then you have to scale it down, because I think Thunderbolts Asterisk could have been made on less money, considering what's in that film. If they'd put the time in, put the work in, it could have cost less. And I think that could be a direction that most studios will have to go in. We're going to have to spend less money on these things. Before we move on to our next item, is there anything in the chat that we can call out?
Someone says to talk to them about Greg's, or to ask him about Greg's. What about Greg's?
Greg's is rubbish. It's my hot take.
Ooh, that is a hot take. In this country, oof.
Always cold. That's your job. I don't have the oven. That's behind your counter. I don't want like a cold. That's just annoying.
There is a question of where does Sinners sit with this, which I think is interesting. Sinners is a fully original new thing. There is chatter about it potentially having sequels, which I would personally like not to see, because I think the film works tremendously by itself, and I would like it to remain what it is. There
was that famous Variety article about Sinners saying this film isn't going to make any money, and then like 2 weeks later it made a lot of money. Good prediction there, Variety. Well done.
And in fact, Ryan Coogler is staking personal money into it and arranging a different deal. I think the rights are going to revert back to him.
20 years or something.
Yeah. And he makes, I think, a higher percentage because he's financed more of it himself. It's interesting because it kind of shows that maybe there wasn't enough belief in the project to fully back it, and or he was like, I want more control of it, and so I'm going to put my own money in it, and then it's mine. It is one of the great new original stuff that we've seen in a good long while. I saw somewhere, I think it might have been either Variety or somewhere, where it said, watch it in IMAX if you can. And so I was like, all right, then IMAX it is. And yeah, worth it. And it's just been so long since that experience was worth it for anything. I saw Thunderbolts in IMAX, and I saw Dune 2 in IMAX, and they were great, but I could have watched them in a different cinema and it would have been fine. But specifically Sinners, A, for being original, and B, for using the IMAX aspect ratios and the size of it in the storytelling. Yes, please do some fun, weird things, because everyone else is boring. So that's my Sinners take.
That deal that you were talking about that Coogler managed to get, people moan about anything on the internet, but it's no different to the kinds of deals that Tarantino gets for his movies and things. It's just, in 20 years, I can do whatever I want with this movie. It's nothing new. It's one of those things that directors at a certain level can certainly negotiate for. It's not everybody will get it. And it's not everybody that's making original stuff. So your Marvel director's not going to get control of their movie in 20 years because it's not their movie.
Yeah.
It's a funny old industry, isn't it? It's a very strange minefield in terms of what's getting made and what's making money and what's not making money.
For real.
All right, we will move on to our next thing. We have a game. Chris, random.org, said that your next game is your Gen Z movie summaries game.
Thank you very much, random.org, for this great honour of putting my game on second. This was a horrific idea that I regret ever coming up with. However, here it is. We are going to have some Gen Z generated movie summaries. You have got to tell us the name of the film. These are all films that have been covered on the podcast within the last 100 episodes. I am going to read them out. I am not Gen Z. I have no idea what half the words mean. It will be up on the screen for the viewers at home, so you can play along as well. Put your guesses in the chat. Give the team a hand, because we all know they're going to need it, because we are not young and or cool enough for this game. Let's go for our first movie. A slick AF Thief plus its chaotic squads of NPC energy besties team up for the ultimate heist, chasing legendary relic. But for real, everything hits the fan when they cross the absolute wrong people. Expect unhinged plans, main character fails, pure drama. It's giving chaos, betrayal, zero chill, let's get messy. And there's a little rocket emoji thing and fire, because rockets and fire. What film could that possibly be about, team?
Is it Hobbs and Shaw?
It is not Hobbs and Shaw.
That's got two people in. Well, it's a team-up movie.
It has got a team and a chaotic squad.
I'm going to guess Dungeons and Dragons.
Correct. Points to Craig. It is, in fact, Dungeons and Dragons. I'll also give points to Violet in the Twitch chat as well, who got the same answer. Well done. Right, let's go for our next one here. So there's like this unhinged dude going around offing city's top politicians. He pulls up trying to solve the mystery, but the deeper he digs, the more he's like, yo, my fam low-key sus too. Now he's fighting crime and his trust issues. A sad face and a city skyline.
Is it the Batman?
Yeah, because that's got politicians.
Correct, Kat. Well done. It is the Batman.
Yo, is my fam low-key sus too?
Also, well done, Violet, in the chat, getting it almost the same time there as well. Well done, well done, well done.
You sent her the answers ahead of time, didn't you?
I needed someone that was able to speak pure Gen Z. Maybe we collaborated. I don't know. Keep it our secret, Violet. It's our secret. Okay, let's go for our next film. It's a Manhattan paramedic with low-key psychic vibes, gets dragged back into her messy past. She links up with three baddie girls who are literally built for greatness. If they can survive the danger that's coming for them right now. Fate, drama, chaos, yup, let's ride!
Madam Web.
Madam Web.
Well done.
Outstanding.
Let's get the next one. A squad of commandos pull up for what's supposed to be a normal jungle mission, but nah, they end up getting stalked by this OP beast that's just there for the vibes and the kills. It's giving jungle chaos. Zero plot armor. Who's next energy? Survival mode is on. And there's a little pistol and palm trees and stuff.
That's actually just a quote from our podcast. That's exactly how we described it.
Who's going to give me the answer for the points?
I was going to say The Predator, but that was ages ago. Prey? Prey was one of the Predator films, isn't it?
Oh, no, you're right. You're right, Isaac. It was covered as part of the Alien Day specials. So it was part of the recent episode count.
Yeah, we don't just do new stuff. You were on an old movie, Isaac.
Sometimes we go back to the classics. Got to educate Gen Z about The Predator and other such things. All right, our final film that has been Gen Z'd. That's the word we're going for. Teen Sarah's on a whole quest after her baby bro gets snatched by the actual Goblin King. Like, sir, why? And now she's got to vie for an unhinged maze full of weird creatures plus chaos to save him before time runs out. It's giving main character energy, bad decisions, goblin drama. Let's go get lost.
Got to give this to Violet. You've got to give it to her, surely.
Violet getting the points in the chat already. As soon as I put it on screen, Violet in chat say that one. We'll go for that. Who's wanted the point in the room?
Labyrinth.
There we go. Aaron gets it.
Can't believe Gen Z is not mentioning the tights.
When you see Sarah and Goblin King, you don't really need to see much else.
It did kind of give it away. The points at the end of that, I got 0 points, Angus got 0 points, Craig got 2 points, Kat, Isaac, and Aaron all with 1 point. And that was some Gen Z movies.
There we go.
Should we not be moving on to Gen Alpha by now? We're still so hung up on Gen Z. Aren't they a thing of the past? They're like old news, aren't they?
The old news, yeah. Violet in the chat has said that she... I agree with you, Violet. You won.
I'll buy that, yeah.
I think Gen Alpha is probably way too skibbity to make even remote sense to us. Because what? The chaos with the Gen Alphas is real.
Okay.
FR. I know for real is FR now. I know that. I learned that this week.
Wow.
I can talk young and cool now.
What useful information do you think it pushed out when you learned that?
All of it. There was no useful information there. There was nothing useful. Can confirm.
Well, next, we're going to hear from another person who isn't here, but I guess we're going to call him consultant. Darren Mooney posted a message for us to listen to and possibly a talking point. Who knows?
Hey, congratulations, guys. Darren here. How are things? First of all, congratulations to Craig and company on making the 300 episode milestone. A frankly incredible run for any podcast. Wonderful work. It's been an absolute joy to be even a tiny part of that along the way. I hope you guys are taking a moment to properly celebrate and assess and kind of sit with that, because I know you're editing this into a gigantic episode and it can feel a little bit like work. I do hope you guys are just taking a moment to be like, hey, we did it, 300 episodes. You guys asked if there was anything I would like to ask you guys, any question I have coming out of maybe the episodes that we've done together. I've been incredibly lucky to talk about what I've talked about with you guys, but I think it is interesting. One of the big things we've talked about is inevitably circle back around to the question of streaming. Every discussion we have had in some way or another with regard to some franchise or some show has had to involve the reality of streaming. And the streaming bubble appears to have burst. We're in an era where the major studios seem to be pivoting back towards theatrical content, back towards traditional TV models. Streaming itself is becoming more like television, with advertisements and with lower tiers and with procedurals as much as serialized expensive dramas. And I just want to ask, first of all, do you guys think we are at the end of the era? Second of all, what do you guys think the future holds? And third of all, given that what we've done is talk a lot about properties and franchises that we love on the show, which franchise do you think is A, in the worst position coming out of the streaming era, particularly relative to where it was going in? And B, which franchise has emerged strongest from the streaming era compared to where it was when we went into the streaming age? Take care, guys. And here's the 300 more. Bye.
God, 300 more. That sounds like a threat.
Take us another decade.
Oh, God. Yeah, what will that be doing in another decade? This, what we're doing right now. Who knows? So streaming, what franchises made it best out of it? I'm not sure, actually, because you can always weigh them up in different scales. When you think about, well, maybe Star Wars is at its worst at the moment because they've had so many things that people haven't liked, but then they had Andor, which is one of the best TV things I've seen in a long, long time.
Yes, but I don't think that it's doing numbers, though. So has everybody seen it?
I've not.
But the thing is, the streaming services, they release numbers and make them up, as far as we know. There's no real centralized place. You know, with like Nielsen, you were comparing them to how they did on other channels and things, because it was a centralized body that was collecting all this data, where it's, you have Netflix going, everyone's watching this thing, honest, and we can't really say otherwise because no one can check it. But I think they said that Andor did well, as in it held on to its audience. It maybe didn't shoot into the stratosphere or whatever, but it did well enough. It maintained what it had done in season 1.
Isn't it the only one that increased its numbers?
Yeah.
Not by much, but it's the only one that had an uptrend rather than a cliff to dive off of.
Yeah.
I think I'd nominate Only Murders in the Building as a strong streaming show. Series 5 is just wrapped production. Streaming shows getting beyond 3 is already quite impressive. I think that was exclusively on, well, we get on Disney Plus about Star, and that was streamed more handily because it was episodic. It was week to week. It wasn't all done as a one. Recently I watched The Resident, the Netflix similar whodunit, which you can also binge in like 2 days. It's very good, but it doesn't quite have that corkboard thing of after every episode of Only Murders in the Building, you have to go on the Reddit and like you see the theories and you make your own, and then by the 10th week you're ready to put money down on who you think it's going to be, as opposed to if you can zoom through a whodunit, or if it's an individual film like the Benoit Blancs, you don't really have too much time to stew and ruminate and then see what other people are thinking and get involved in all that. So I'd put that one up there just because that was immediate thoughts of mine in terms of streaming shows. It's certainly sticking around. Again, it's one of those ones that like, will they push it beyond that? It's running out of space. But in terms of things that have come out the worst, it's probably Star Wars. Again, I don't know much about Star Wars, kind of joined in with the Disney ones, but it always has this colossal fandom, and especially when The Mandalorian Series 1 was announced, it was the next golden age of what Star Wars is going to be. A Western, back to basics. Just a guy on a mission with a ship in the lived-in galaxy, and everyone was like, this is the pinnacle. And then next year, maybe like the Mandalorian and Grogu film with some character from a 1989 annual and Jabba the Hutt's cousin or something. I think it's all collapsed. What everyone was so excited about is kind of just folded over. Well, they've had to put this in and this in and this in, and it's got itself bogged down, unfortunately. And then there's Ashoka coming back, which probably has Hayden Christensen in it again. Ewan McGregor will have that white thing he had in the cartoon, that cloney armor, because that's something. And I don't know what else they're doing. They're probably doing another film, and it's all a bit muddled in what they're doing. And then you said people loved Andor because, again, it was just following a guy doing a thing in a lived-in universe like Mandalorian Series 1 was, but then they're saying it's going to be more of the Filoni style stuff. Spaceships thing. And Tony Gilroy, the Andor guy, was saying he's had to fight for the budget to make this thing, even though it is super acclaimed. He was having to really struggle to make the series he wanted to do. So I think in terms of going in really high with Mandalorian, which everyone loved straight away, and then coming out now with films that are essentially a fourth or fifth series of shows that people have forgotten about. It's like they made a Simpsons movie based on where Simpsons is now, and you're like, who's Katie Simpson? We haven't watched for 20 years. We have no idea what's going on. So I think Star Wars is probably the one that's had the biggest tumble. Doctor
Who had a pretty major tumble, though. I mean, the streaming era almost killed it, and may have killed it. We don't know.
Doctor Who's been dying for ages. That's fine. It's always dying.
It comes back, though. What's the word? It kind of there's a word for it. It's off the tip of my tongue.
It re-warp knives. It re-lightsabers every few years.
That's it. Yeah, that's the word.
Star Trek's had a pretty sizable downturn. It went from 52 weeks a year of Star Trek to we've cancelled all but one of our shows. But I don't know what franchises come out the best. I suppose, how do you define franchise? Would you define Only Murders as a franchise? It's one show.
Does Stranger Things count as a behemoth of the streaming age?
Stranger Things is quite a behemoth.
The thing is, though, there's so few streaming programs that make it past a couple of seasons. We're able to pick those out by going, right, Stranger Things, Only Murders in the Building. There's very few, even on Apple TV, for example, there's very few things that get out of that second into third season territory. There's a few bits that have got there, things like For All Mankind. Few of those have managed to get beyond a 2-season run. But none of those that we've mentioned are franchises as such. They're not a Marvel or a DC or a Star Wars. They're not built off a huge back catalogue of stuff. These were unique individual stories that they've managed to expand on and put more episodes into. And maybe that's where the actual success is. We've been talking about how these franchises have felt a bit drained because they're like, all right, we've kind of went off and ticked off all the obvious stuff that we wanted to go back to. Folk wanted to see more about Boba Fett. Oh yeah, we've done that now. Folk wanted a Mandalorian story thing. Oh yeah, we've done that now. What was Obi-Wan up to for a bit? Okay, yeah, we've done that one. Right, what are we doing now? The run-up to getting the plans for the Death Star? Well, we kind of did that movie. What about the guy that was in the movie? Right, yeah, we'll do that. We've got that one. Now, what do we do? Similar with Marvel. Marvel have tried to tick off all the characters in the background that they've wanted to, but they've kind of run dry. Similar with DC. DC hasn't quite restarted yet. I know that things like Creature Commandos and stuff has been on, but they've not really hit the ground running yet in any way where folk are like, oh, must watch the latest episode of, I guess, Peacemaker. But Peacemaker was running before this new regeneration of things. So I would really struggle to pick an actual franchise that's doing well because they're all kind of stumbling at the moment. They've all had little successes where their feet hit the ground, but all of them have got one foot in the air and an arm flailing on one side. None of them look like they're particularly going to start steamrolling ahead.
For real.
For real. FR.
FR, yes.
The way the question was framed, my mind started going, perhaps less franchise where there's multiple things under one umbrella, because of those, there's only a handful, and none of them are doing great. I would say the MCU did the worst, because I think they have torpedoed their chance at cinema money because of just the relentless onslaught of mediocre TV shows that sag in the middle, and you're just kind of like, I guess I watched 6 episodes of that, but ugh. And then by the end of that, they release a movie where it's necessary to have seen all the mediocre TV shows that you've already lost the will to live because of. And so then you're like, I was supposed to watch 30 hours worth of things, plus 20 movies, plus whatever else. And so people are just giving up because of course they are. And I don't blame anybody who at this point is like, you know what, with the Marvel stuff, flip table, forget about it.
I'd agree with that because I think they had the perfect storm of they built up to such a apex with the Infinity Saga. So none of the rest can really compare with where they were. All this years and years of build up, and then there was never going to be an adequate follow-on from that. And as you say, all the TV shows have dipped so badly.
Exactly. There were a few that built off of existing momentum that were continuations of stories from that incredible very well executed 23 movie behemoth, WandaVision and Loki, but those were in production for years before any of the rest. And then everything else was made in a real rush. I don't know. Hawkeye, here you go. Here's a Christmas show. I don't know.
Hawkeye's my favorite of the lot of them.
I disagree. The more I think about it, the less I'm into it. My point being is that they gave us way too much of mediocre stuff. I have been rewatching the Marvel Netflix shows, so the Defenders shows, in the run-up to watch the newest Daredevil, and it has taken me, it is now the 19th of June at the time of recording. I am now almost finishing Daredevil Born Again. I started in February, and it has been a slog. And that's the Netflix shows, which were better. I wouldn't even remotely attempt a rewatch of all the Disney Plus MCU shows at this stage, because I would completely just vegetate. I'm with you, Isaac, with the Star Wars stuff. I think there's an argument there to be made, and that's the larger Disney problem. It's because they own all the things, and they're, what if we just make all this stuff, people will subscribe? And I suppose people do, but it's the same thing as with everything else we talk about on this show, which is you still gotta make a good thing. You got to make a good product. Just you making something entirely average and or worse. Sure, you'll bring in a couple hundred subscribers, but is it worth it? Because then you're torpedoing the trust you've built over decades. So conversely, where Disney, I think, has completely shot themselves in the foot, and they're starting to realize this, and they're like, okay, we're going to pull the brakes on no excessive Star Wars stuff, no excessive MCU stuff. We're going to drop the numbers to a couple a year. Great, by the way, make a better thing, but less of it. That's completely fine. Is, in fact, Apple TV, I would say. Although the subscriber numbers are probably nowhere near the same. But I would say that they have had the better approach in terms of producing new things. In my extremely biased and personal experience, the hit-to-miss ratio is absurd. Maybe I've seen one or two things on Apple TV where I was like, there was that show that was based on a podcast with Will Ferrell and Paul Rudd. It's fine, but it's fine. And when that's your baseline and everything else is great, Severance, I think, has broken records at this point. Ted Lasso over the pandemic. In fact, I would say Apple TV coming into the streaming game extremely late, but with phenomenal dart precision of, and boom, here's an amazing show. You're welcome. And everybody was like, wait, what? Ted Lasso?
Apple TV's problem, though, is the fact that they don't tell anyone they've got these things. They don't market anything. It's like a secret.
The amount of time I have spent telling people, no, seriously, you need to get Apple TV. It's astounding. Every time that I pay the £9 a month, I'm like, yes, you take my money, you give me good TV. Thank you, and here's my money. It's baffling. They have clearly a great approach creatively in-house. They have a whole team of people reading scripts to pick new things to make. They have people going like, there's this book series that seemed to do very well. How about we make a show about it? Boom, silo. Where's Netflix in this? They're just making specifically shows for people to scroll their phones on while they're watching. That's the level we're at the moment. Apple TV respects its viewer. Could they stand to have a few more viewers? Yes. And I do think that their marketing strategy is non-existent and very confusing. But at the very least, there's good work being done over there. The same couldn't be said for HBO Max or whatever they're calling themselves this month.
We mentioned anything on Prime Video.
We're Prime Video.
The most frustrating app.
One of the bonuses of the streaming era is catching up with things you just missed from decades ago. I recently finished Charmed, Modern Family, watched Futurama again, Luther. That's really cool. I fancy watching that again, but you don't have to buy the DVDs. The real victory of streaming is more archive than what they're doing.
That is big business for them.
It is big business, but it's also a big detriment. It's like, I could try this new series, but I could just watch this.
Like Kat was saying, if there's something that you can scroll on your phone while having on in the background, it could be new content, which isn't great, but it could also just be The Office again, and you just have that on.
Yeah.
People do like having that archive.
There is a question around, is that why they won't release the numbers? Because those numbers will say that all people are watching is The Office and Friends and stuff. They're not actually watching any of the new stuff. But yeah, there is an argument for these streaming services being archives, preservations of old content. And then if you look at, say, the Spotify model or any of the music streaming apps, they all have everything pretty much Whereas all these streaming services are all siloed off in terms of, if you want to watch the Disney stuff, you need Disney Plus. If you want to watch whatever Netflix is making, you need to get that. If you want to watch the two things Paramount makes, you need Paramount Plus, and so on. I feel like people would be less bothered if they could pay a reasonable amount of money a month and get everything, which is how it all took off in the first place, because Netflix had pretty much everything, because they were the only game in town.
The problem is that model doesn't work for the creators, does it?
No, nothing ever does.
Spotify has everything, but the creators of the content are getting a pittance per play, and the studios are not going to take that. That universal service that has everything would cost a fortune, because every time you click play, they'd be wanting 90 pence or something to be going back to them, not 0.1 of a penny. That's unfortunately the reason that system's the way it is. These bespoke deals and things.
Well, that's a big issue with the payment for creatives on the streaming services, because they're employed to make less episodes and they don't get residuals every time it airs on TV. The Friends actors make millions a year because Friends is never off the TV somewhere, for example. But you don't get that with streaming. You get paid for doing the thing, and then you never see a penny again. You hear actors talking about they were asked to do press because their show is going to be on a streaming service somewhere, but they're not going to pay them to do it. And they're like, well, why would I do that? Why would I promote the fact that my show is on your thing if you're not going to give me anything for it? Tony Gilroy talking about, while he was making Andor Season 2, apparently he was getting told by Disney, streaming's dead. We're not planning a future with this much. So, yeah, Darren is, at least to some degree, right about the fact that a bubble is bursting in real time and we don't know what the end result will be.
It's not unusual. He's very smart.
Can confirm Dan's smart.
Yeah, they definitely went in on it extremely heavy, and it didn't need to be that way. The Paramount Pluses of the world, all of their stuff was scattered everywhere and licensed. And then they were like, oh, we're going to pull everything and make our own service, which is extremely moderately successful, if at all. But they have a great archive. But then you have the HBOs and Warners of the world who delete things. Disney, too. Willow, that is just gone now. And that is, I think, a very scary thing. I am all here, gosh knows we pay for all of the services because I want all the stuff. And I'm happy to, if that will mean that I am supporting the continued creation of new things and the continued preservation of older things. But if genuinely nothing is safe, then what's the point? So whether or not the bubble is bursting or things are about to consolidate or whatever, I mean, the TV model is dead. People are not here for more cable things. The streaming model is just a rehashing of the cable model. And what we may see is the meshing of things together. Services deciding to like, oh, okay, fine, I guess we will close Lionsgate Plus or whatever else. These things turn up on Amazon usually as side channels, or Apple TV. You can do a sub-subscription for all these other things. Who's subscribing to Lionsgate Plus? Just license your stuff to Netflix. Who cares? Or somebody else. I can't wait for the extreme excessiveness of all of those things to just go away. I am also very done. But I think there's something to be said about making things for straight to streaming in the same way that it used to be direct-to-TV sequel or whatever, where it would be of a lower quality. And we've seen that with movies, with TV shows. And I wonder if there's a way through that to something more creative and more original and worthwhile and worth paying for, maybe.
Maybe. Interesting point from Darren there that we got a good discussion out of. Anything in the chat on this subject?
We've got our Muldrake saying Netflix have or are just starting live shows, which is part of Darren's question. Is it reverting to a point? So is it the fact that Netflix is basically going, how can we get eyes on, oh, we're going to do live TV, we're going to do live sports, we're going to do live theatre TV shows.
They do wrestling and stuff, don't they?
Yeah, your evening talk show, essentially recreating linear TV, but doing it on the Netflix. But a lot of that's appearing because they're going, well, how do we keep subscribers? Oh, well, sports is a popular one of doing it, especially in America with all the different leagues and the different sports that are available in there. It's a huge market. Over here, it's mainly football, cricket, golf, tennis, isn't it, when it comes to people paying for sports subscriptions.
Even they're all over the place, though, as well. So it's harder for people to keep up with them.
It's difficult because of the licensing, and what ends up happening is it gets split. So 50% of the games will go to one network, 50% of the games will go to the other. They will license international friendlies out to one place. They will have part of a tournament split between two different bodies. If you are a fan of a particular team, you end up having to pay about 6 different subscriptions to watch. I think it's even worse in Scotland than it is down south, because down south a lot of their stuff still goes on terrestrial, whereas in Scotland most of it all goes to subscription networks. So it's incredibly difficult, but a way of these channels getting revenue, bringing them into streaming. But it's essentially recreating linear TV. I wouldn't be surprised if they come up with a model which is you've got your basic ad subscription tier on demand, and then they make an even cheaper, hey, you just watch it when it comes on, okay, tier, with adverts in between. Oh, you mean linear TV? If you want Stranger Things new episode, it's on Tuesday at 9 o'clock, all right? That's when it's on. If you miss it, you miss it. We'll sell you this VCR. We've got a bunch of these.
It's like those digital TV packages that come free with your TV. You just look around and it's like, oh, look, there's a channel that shows nothing but Inspector Gadget.
Pluto?
Yeah.
That's available all over the place. Streaming providers like Plex have live TV channels within them showing archive bits and pieces.
Pluto, which was the service that was the only UK legal way you could watch Star Trek Discovery for a while.
The natural choice.
Because they screwed the pooch on their Netflix deal and didn't realise that people outside of the US wanted to watch it.
Thank you, Pluto. We love you. Heart Pluto.
Before we move to our next talking point, shall we play the short one celebrity endorsement I managed to get hold of for this 300th episode? We can hear from Alex Zahara, who plays the guy that gets killed by the lawnmower in Final Destination, the new one. It's in the trailer, so that's not a spoiler, unless you didn't watch the trailer and don't want to be spoiled. Interviewed him a few weeks back. Great guy, very chatty guy, and he was kind enough to supply this.
Hey folks, Alex Zahara here. Just want to wish Craig and company at Kneel Before Blog a very, very happy 300th show.
What a guy. Our next talking point is going to be a bit of a esoteric one, but during the news podcasts, it often comes up that there's a drinking game that is played, particularly by our superfan and benefactor Violet. I've called this segment the girl/boyfriend experience, where particularly me and Bo, we have a list of actors and actresses that we follow into the gates of hell, no matter what they're in. And Violet has compiled a list, and she has kindly submitted a clip of her reading that list. So shall we hear it, and then we can see if any of the rest of us have our ride or dies.
Hello, friends. It's me, your engaged community, Violet. As the custodian of the hallowed list of Kneel Before Pod drinking game girlfriends and boyfriends, it's my honor and indeed my privilege to rattle off some names for this super special occasion. Boyfriend and girlfriend listings usually depend on whether or not a statement has been made of intent to see every project, regardless of quality, just because said person is involved. Since joining the team, Bo has asked me to add Renee Rapp, Teo Yu, Diego Luna to his list, also Andrew Garfield, but he is on Craig's list too, and mine, and should be on everyone's. Angus has one girlfriend, and it's money. And of course, the list that started it all, take a sip, or if you're courageous, take a shot, when Craig mentions Catherine Newton, Catherine McNamara, Sydney Sweeney, Melissa Benoist, Vanessa Hudgens, Rose McIver, Camilla Mendez, or Lucy Hale. Future podcasts will determine additions to this list, of course. I'll be waiting with pen poised to take note, and until then, all my love.
Thank you to the keeper of the list.
Haley Steinfeld was missed from my list, so...
Stuart's inquiry.
If Andrew Garfield was on Craig's list, what DIY project ask him to come help with?
I don't know, I've got a chest of drawers needing built. I wonder if he could do that.
Gardening. It's probably quite an outdoorsman.
Just pay him to hang out. That'd be fun.
I wonder who's on my in such a way. Girlfriends and boyfriends, there's a difference in tier of I'm just watching this because you're attractive.
It's not a lascivious list. It's just we'll watch them.
Yeah, but then there's the verses where it's you're so talented, I will watch anything you do because I know you're great. Versus it doesn't matter how good you are. You're pretty to look at. Inside you, there are two wolves, and it's these two. So for various reasons, we follow people's careers. I wonder who has the deepest cut of the most obscure person.
Well, I was going to mention one. Maybe it's half a joke. Maybe there's some reality in there. I feel like I need to get it out. The male host of Love is Blind Brazil, Kleber Toledo, every time he comes on the screen, yes, more Kleber.
You're going to be struggling to get a deeper cut than that, in this crowd anyway.
Well, I saw this item on the agenda coming up, and as we were talking about Netflix and streaming and live reality show finals and all this kind of thing, I suddenly remembered, yes, of course, how could I let this 300th spectacular go by without mentioning Kleber Toledo?
There you go. Got it in there.
I watched a lot of Henry Cavill films, but I don't think any of them have ever been good. But I remember him being in them.
Oscar Isaac could be one of yours too, wouldn't he?
Oscar Isaac, yeah. But I think there's lots where maybe it's more productions. People like Wes Anderson. It's not so much an actor, but Christopher Nolan, for example. A lot of people go like, well, it's going to be pretty impressive on the screen. I think Greta Gerwig is another one. She's making The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe soon. Definitely watch that. Lady Bird is amazing. Barbie's amazing. Frances Ha. So that's always going to be good. Going back to my very specific list of things I'm able to talk about on the podcast, Doctor Who and Captain Marvel. So I think either the character of Captain Marvel or the Doctor Who writer Chris Chibnall, who I defend constantly, even though he's probably the most responsible for Doctor Who's downfall. But I like it. As someone who likes writing, and I've recently submitted my little Doctor Who story for the Big Finish competition, there's something very inspiring about people who write and they're just okay, but they do really well. That's a bar for me. Set the bar low, Chris, so that I can meet it. And then maybe one day I'll get to write my favourite show. Stephen Moffat's too scary. I can't do that.
You can't outright
There's certain people. There's a Darren Mooney's of the world. I just can't think on that level. I'm sorry. I need a lower bar.
Aaron, do you have any ride or dies?
Really none, actually. I didn't even think that was a thing anymore. I've seen quite a lot of YouTube chat recently about go back to the 1930s, 40s, and people followed movie stars around, and go to the 70s and people followed directors around. All of these were just big names that people loved their stuff. And I was honestly of the impression before hearing everybody chat here that those days were all long gone.
You mean you've never heard of the Cumberbitches?
Seriously not, no. And I really don't have anybody. I'm even looking at my bookshelf to take it to that level and think, is there any author here that I just love their stuff? And even the ones that I liked as a kid that you would think would have a special place in my heart, and you read some of their later stuff, and I suppose I did read all of them, but if I try and translate that to film, actors, directors, producers, writers, really none. There's nobody who would follow. I'm more likely to fall into the other problem of seeing an actor as their character, and I'd watch that character anywhere because I really like the story, the person that I'm seeing on screen, and then being disappointed when you see the actor and think, oh my God, you're nothing like that character at all. When you open your mouth, that makes you a good actor, but that character is now gone forever. I don't know if there's that opposite view, but no, I can't give you anybody. I really can't.
Oh, wow. Chris, do you have anybody?
I've been struggling to think. I don't think I do. I have people that when I see them appear in a project, I'm like, this will probably be good. But I wouldn't have someone that I would be able to say, I have seen all their work. I will see all their future work regardless, because we all know if they turn up in a horror film, I'm not going. I don't think I've got that actor or actress that I'll march over the hill for regardless of content. But you've got these people that appear all the time where you go, oh, they're good. There's probably a bunch in TV where they always appear as a bit actor, a side character that maybe drops in a guest star, where you go, oh, I've seen them in so much stuff. I can't pick their name out of the top of my head, but I've seen them in a ton of stuff. Oh, I know this is going to be a good little episode. I've got bits like that, but not necessarily one that I would go for.
Fair enough.
I think I have a few, and it's usually someone who's impressed me in something. And then when they pop up again, I'm like, oh, hey, it's that guy. Big example is Harry Treadaway, who was Victor Frankenstein in Penny Dreadful, which is a favorite show of mine, unjustly canceled in season 3, just when it was picking up steam again, and written by a playwright and combining all the gothic characters. You've got your Frankensteins, Dorian Gray, Dracula, all of these monstery type people existing at the same time. And there was a great plot and all of that. And Harry Treadaway played Frankenstein, and I would argue he was the best Frankenstein I have seen, and that includes Benedict Cumberbatch on stage. And he, fun fact, has a twin brother called Luke Treadaway, who is, for some reason, more successful. They look the same, and I would argue they are equally talented. But Harry just wasn't getting as much work, and so Penny Dreadful was kind of his big break. And ever since then, anything Harry Treadaway is in, I'm like, yes, my favorite Treadaway. I have a favorite Treadaway, and in fact, he was on stage in a London theater that I will not name, and it was just great to see him flourish. It's people like that. Or Aaron Tveit, who's also a theater actor from the US, who was in a terrible crime show, but I only watched it for him. I think I found out about him on the Les Mis movie, and then I saw him on stage in London doing a Sondheim show, and then he was in this crime show, and I'm like, the things we do. It was not great. He's pretty good. And then there's the I'll only watch you because you're pretty and I kind of don't care what it is. He's been making better career choices lately. Ben Barnes, who I have been hopelessly in love with since the Narnia movies, and he kind of fell off the face of the earth for a while, and then he came back with a beard and a dark charm to him, and now he's on things like The Punisher and the Netflix Shadow and Bone TV show, also unjustly canceled, but also they wrote themselves into a corner and shot themselves in the foot. So that's on Netflix.
I think I've seen this guy in something.
Fun fact, he almost went to Eurovision once because he was in a boy band. But he makes his own music now, which is cute, and we love to see it. I kind of don't care what it is. I will watch him in anything. He's also, side note, a very nice guy, and I don't care what it is. I will watch it. God damn it.
There we go. Has anyone in the chat admitted to some of theirs?
No, under fear of going on the list, I think chat has remained silent on it. Got to say hi to Gordon, who's messaged in on YouTube, though, saying, great stuff. Thank you very much. We'll take compliments.
It is embarrassing. It's a lot to admit that there is something like this for you, but honestly, whatever.
I watched Ben Whishal's hair in anything.
Ooh, for real.
What's that most recent show where there was the spies with Keira Knightley as well?
Oh, yeah.
Incredible hair. I think there's one of the episodes where he's been just awoken to a spy shootout. There's also action going on. I was like, that's amazing. Like, it's so layered and magnificent.
So you'll be disappointed in Paddington then, because you won't see his hair.
I'd have to just get a picture of him in that show and put it to the screen, and then have the mouth move up and down like a ventriloquist puppet. Just feed it marmalade sandwiches. Like, there you go.
This conversation is getting weirder. Good. I love it.
I like that it's just his hair.
Just the hair.
Only his hair.
Incredible.
Before our next game, should we hear from Natalie, who put in a message because she is absent, unable to make it this evening?
Hello, Natalie here. You might remember me from such episodes as Hulk's Not Hot and There's a Predator in the Water, which wasn't actually me, that was Craig. Sorry to not be joining you, but well done in 300 episodes. Bye.
Hey.
Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you, Natalie.
Angus was laughing a lot during that clip for some reason.
Just always entertained by her.
It's why you marry her.
Yeah.
Keeps things interesting.
We have another game. This is me this time. Random.org has decreed that it's my turn to give a game. I'm doing the same game I did last time when we did 200. Basically, I found some hilarious, mileage may vary, letterbox reviews of films that we've covered in the last 100 episodes. I'm going to read them and we're going to guess. And Chris might keep score. Who knows? But there's no prize for anything here. No one's keeping an overall tally of what's going on.
I was told there was a prize. That's the only reason I'm here.
Yeah, well, there isn't. I just said that so people would turn up and it worked. And now everyone's going to leave immediately. I don't have these on screen. I'm just going to read them. So you'll just have to listen. The first one, watching this is what I imagine scrolling through TikTok on cocaine feels like. I don't expect superhero films to be high art. I enjoy silly, pulpy things and wacky action. This film is anathema to all that. A lifeless husk of intellectual property. The poorly designed CGI suit, the wild shifts in tone, the dead-eyed line readings, the jarring placement of famous rock songs, and desperate nostalgia farming. We deserve better entertainment.
You'd say like Guardians, one of those. That doesn't quite fit the bill.
No, it's not Guardians.
Or Love and Thunder?
Nope.
Quantumania.
Nope.
It's had rock songs. That's what I'm trying to...
Because I think of as the first Suicide Squad has an absurd amount of songs that clip off immediately.
No.
There's not really any costumes in that, though.
Actually, with this film, I don't remember the rock songs, but this person does.
This person specifically called out the rock songs. Venom?
No.
Super Mario?
Put us out of our misery, Craig.
I'll put you out of your misery. It was The Flash.
The Flash. CGI suit.
CGI suit. TikTok and cocaine. It's all in there. So that's 0 to everybody.
I never watched it. That's my embarrassing admission.
You're not missing much.
Yeah, so I hear.
Next one. It's a shorter one, this one. What in the actual F did I just watch? Whoever made this needs help. Not anywhere close to being good enough for such haunting imagery. How dare you do Isabella like that?
Isabella?
That may narrow it down some.
So a famous actress called Isabella.
Rossellini? Dune?
No.
Okay.
It's going to be a character called Isabella, isn't it?
It could be. Equally, it might not be.
Would that be Beauty and the Beast, then?
No.
Conclave?
No. There are episodes on all of the ones that I chose.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, we didn't do one on Conclave.
Yeah, that's slightly out of format, isn't it?
It's a great movie.
Those are the films that get mentioned during We Watch This on news pods, but no.
And it's got haunting imagery.
Is it one of the retrospective ones?
Nope.
So it's a new film.
New film with haunting imagery.
I think you might have stumped us a little too.
Well, put you out your misery.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alien Romulus.
Oh.
Isabella Merced is, of course, Isabella being referred to.
None of our writers' room efforts are on Letterboxd, right? So there's no way anyone could be writing that about Wet Bandits prequel.
Just anybody that listened to it could, I suppose, in theory, leave such haggard comments.
Yeah.
Next one. Not for me. I like the ideas, but it looks like it was made in someone's toilet and the cast all seem really old and haggard.
The castles seem old and haggard.
The cast.
Oh, the
cast. Cast are old.
I'd also heard Castle and I was thinking Nosferatu. Old and haggard.
Is this Borderlands? Because that got accused.
And they do look old and haggard.
Everyone just kind of looks very tired.
Even the young person. No, it's not. We didn't do Borderlands as an episode.
Could you repeat the top bit? I'm not sure I remember it.
I like the ideas, but it looks like it was made in someone's toilet and the cast all seem really old and haggard.
Likes the ideas. So there's ideas.
It's not Conclave.
Is it one of the Star Trek rewatches? Is it the motion picture or something like that?
Close.
Oh, no.
Star Trek 6.
Nope.
Or Star Wars?
Star Trek Nemesis.
Nope.
Picard?
Nope.
Wrath of Khan.
Yes.
Is it?
That one hurts.
That one's one of the good ones. What?
Yeah.
Old and haggard.
Which is why I chose it. I wanted to find a negative take on it, and I did. The next one. I have actively avoided rewatching this movie in fear of it reigniting deep-rooted distress. Nothing has ever come close to making my skin crawl the way the grungy animatronics and disturbing vibe of this film did when I was 7. I honestly believe they deliberately made this to traumatize weird little kids who were scared of abnormal things.
Okay.
Dark Crystal.
Bingo.
Yeah.
It was the trauma. I share that trauma.
The intense distress.
Next one. This movie is flat out terrible. The plot is like too much poop in a butt and the cast adds absolutely nothing. Also, as a magician dude British in real life, he sounds like Andrew Tate. They should scrub the internet of all digital files from this movie and burn any physical film in a vat of acid, then shoot the vat into the sun. The reason why people hate on Warcraft and love this garbage is beyond me.
So this is from a fellow magician. Is that part of the review?
No, he says, is the magician dude British?
Is the magician dude British? And he sounds like Andrew Tate.
The reviewer might be a magician, he didn't say.
Is it Multiverse of Madness?
No.
No. Magician dude British? One that we've covered. Dungeons and Dragons?
Yep, D&D.
Dungeons and Dragons, yeah. I was like, what have we covered that's got magicians in it? There's about 2 things. There can only be 2 things with magicians.
I don't know that I would use the word magician for a fantasy setting.
Sorcerer.
It's a wizard, yeah.
Wizards, yeah.
The credentials of the Letterboxd reviewer haven't been vetted in any way. This one, very short one. This is the most silence comic book fan, a person who's never read a comic book is talking movie I've ever seen.
What? Read that again, sorry.
This is the most silence comic book fan, a person who's never read a comic book is talking movie I've ever seen.
Is it Batman v Superman?
No.
Good guess, though.
So it's the least comic accurate comic book film.
Or considered to be such.
Considered to be such.
Already had The Flash.
Morbius.
No.
Madam Web?
No.
Accurate comic book movie.
Doesn't quite narrow it down.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't it a sad state of affairs where, well, this narrows it down to all of them.
All comic book movies?
It could be anything.
Yeah, because people will criticize comic movies if it's not comic accurate, even if it's good.
Yeah.
It's just like, I just don't like the book I own. It's like, well, yeah, because it's not.
Is it The Eternals?
No.
Okay.
I like the cat was wincing, going, I will need to defend it.
I will defend it. But I know that it's very much a departure, I think, from a lot of the source materials.
The answer is X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh, I mean, that's fair. Yeah. Correct, actually. Gosh, they got rid of all of the graphic novel, X-Men Origins Wolverine, in the first, I think, 7 minutes of that movie. And then the rest of it is just, who knows what this is.
I argued in the episode that the first hour, pretty good, actually.
Yeah, we talked about that one. It was all right.
Yeah, I don't mind
How
it.
long ago was that?
It was before Deadpool and Wolverine came out, sometime before that.
Okay.
Retrospective to primers for that one.
I was a big fan of the graphic novel, actually, back in the day.
It was good. The introduction of Bone Claws, which some people do not like at all.
I am.
Bone Claw is ready.
The next one. This one will be narrowed down, but also not narrowed down. I found it. I found the exact movie which demonstrates everything wrong with modern MCU movies. This movie is awful in every possible way. Everything wrong with modern MCU slop.
Phases 4, 5, and 6.
Is this Multiverse of Madness?
Yes, Isaac got it.
Yeah.
Hey.
Disagree.
Totally agree. Disastrous film.
I like when the lady walks past the backstory store and finds out her backstory in the window. That's the best bit.
The next one. Can't believe people gave this 5 stars. The visuals are appealing to the eye if you're high as tits, but at this point, F anything that's animated and isn't meant to be funny. Annoyingly American, full of Brooklyn, literally, and detached ironic hyperactivity. If this film would be a person, they would apply a Facebook-designed filter of a flag over their face after a tragedy and call it a day. One of those films people use as a replacement for therapy. There's not enough adjectives to express how much I loathe everything this stands for.
Wow.
Strong words.
It's nice not always being on the internet sometimes.
Yeah, that's for me.
Looking at recipes occasionally, or looking at roller coasters, I'm like, that looks really fun. And then somewhere in the background, someone's literally losing their minds over. So it's an animated movie and everyone's New York tough guy. Is that part of it?
Could be. It's definitely an animated movie.
One that we've covered.
Is it it's the most Brooklyn movie or something like that?
Spider-Verse?
Yes, Across the Spider-Verse.
What?
We don't cover that much animation. Clone Wars? Brooklyn?
Well, Clone Wars does have Zero the Hutt. It's not Brooklyn,
gangsta, but not quite Brooklyn.
The next one, there's a crack house somewhere in the world with a VHS of this thing and a kid who's being neglected by their parents watching it on repeat 3 times a day. There are clear instances where there is a lack of effort or budget on every level, as you can straight up see the green screen, and the eyes don't even move. These kids make Jake Lloyd look like Brando.
Okay.
Is it Shark Boy and Lava Girl?
When did we do that one?
It's got to be one of the Ewok movies.
Which one?
The kids are mainly in Caravan of Courage, right?
There you go.
Well done.
Thank you.
It's the eyes not moving. That's probably the biggest clue. Last one. Undeniable proof that just because everyone, and I mean everyone, in the cast is hot does not make it a good movie. Entertainingly bad. Not a single element of it works. The acting is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. It's like 5th graders who were forced to be in a play. The screenplay is like it was written by AI and they fired the AI halfway through. How could you be a part of this and not say something? I've spent a lot of time thinking about the premiere. You walk the red carpet, then sit down and watch this. What is the atmosphere like? What do you say afterwards? Final Destination meets That's So Raven.
Oh, man.
Is this The Rise of Skywalker?
Battle for Endor.
No.
It's Final Destination meets That's So Raven, and it's terribly written and everyone should feel bad.
But it's entertainingly bad.
Is that Madam Web?
Yeah.
Okay.
That entertainingly bad, really?
I thought it was.
I think it is, yeah. The amount of takedowns I've watched that really go deep, the ADR, the guy's lips not matching what he's saying, the editing not making any sense. It is entertainingly bad, yeah.
Of us, Angus won with 3 points, Chris had 2 points, Isaac and Kat sharing 1 point, but the winner was Violet, who had 4.
I think Violet could have had more, but she was on a slight time delay between us saying it and her getting it. Sorry, Violet, you probably got cheated out of some points there.
There we go, Letterboxd movie reviews. I wouldn't recommend sorting things to the 1 stars and reading them. It's just for this purpose. It's good to dip in. Well, we just had a game of spicy takes, so let's take our next talking point, which is hot takes. Does anyone have any hot takes that might make people gasp? Apart from Isaac with Greg's.
I've always wanted to talk on the podcast about how much I hate Rogue One.
Same.
It's the worst film ever made.
Kat, you were on a podcast about Rogue One where you talked about how you didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it. I'm pretty sure I'm on record on that podcast saying, I already know where things are going, so I do not care. And you can give me all these backstories about all these people who are doomed to die, but I know that they're doomed to die, so kind of what's the point? And I maintain this, but I want to hear why Isaac hates it with a passion.
Okay, I'm going to run through Mads Mikkelsen's plan in this to destroy the Death Star, bearing in mind he built it, and I will interject with just other plans he could do. First of all, he put the file in a name which he named after his daughter's nickname from 20 years ago, and he hid it in a giant data bank on the most secure planet on the map, or he could have built a self-destruct button. And then he gave it to a TIE fighter pilot that had to fire through a thingy to another planet which the Death Star was going to shoot. You could just not build a Death Star. And then they break into that super secure place, get through that door where the door handle's 100 miles away from the door, and then go through that massive tower and get through and survive all that. And then when they get the plans, they had to fire a torpedo into the big chimney he built on the side of it, or just put a code in so it doesn't work. That was like a 50 million to one shot, and they'd never get another chance of it again. Or don't build a Death Star. It's so needlessly, stupidly complicated. There's a scene where Andor wants to take down Max Mikkelsen because he's the only guy who knows anything about the Death Star. That's not how intelligence works. He's already built it. Don't kill him. Take him to the octopus to find out how he built the Death Star. And it's really ugly, and there's no geography. There's a bit where the spaceship crashes and he's on top of a mountain with a sniper rifle, and then the other one's climbing a ladder underneath the plane. Or there's a bit, as I said, with the door where on Scarif there's a door and you have to go to the controls that work on the door but 100 foot away. You hate when you go to work and you forget to open the door because the door handle's on this control panel. And they give the monk who clearly has the Force, and he's like, oh, this is a scene where he's going to do this and the door handle's going to wiggle a bit, like when Magneto's trying to turn it open. But he's like, oh, I'll just walk back like I've dropped a receipt or something and pick it up in the middle of this laser fight. It's ugly and awful, and it's really boring. They put the Darth Vader bit at the end. It's a pretty decent YouTube scene, but you could just watch a guy on YouTube do it. It's like a minute and a half. But I remember, because I really enjoyed The Force Awakens, I was like, let's go watch Rogue One. I got all the tickets on my card, and then I was like, I refuse to let any of you pay back for that film. That was awful. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about paying this. That's fine. We'll just go have some drinks and forget about it. But it was really horrible. It was a really awful film, and everyone was like, oh, this is the best. This is Disney's highlight of Star Wars. I'm like, this is really bad. It's dumb and bad and ugly and awful and stupid. I think that's why I'm not watching Andor. Now, there's a lot of hate for this old film. It's always simmering away. But it's just really annoying. Everyone's an idiot. It's the biggest bunch of idiots.
They're idiots, and here's a scene of backstory, and I'm going to tell you my sad, tragic past. Okay, great.
Stop Britain's Got Talent. Nobody cares.
I think that was my biggest problem, but I totally hear you on the convolutedness of all of the plan stuff. What I will tell you, though, about Andor, and I'm sure other people have told you this too, is that Andor is what Rogue One wishes it was.
Yeah, I've heard that this is what it would be if it was good.
Yeah, exactly. Here's what real people in this universe live like and go through, and what does it take for that resistance movement to build, and the sacrifices that people make. Those tragic backstories, you feel every second of it. You feel every sacrifice that they make. You even feel for the Nazis in the Empire. One guy is this pencil pusher, and all he wants to do is follow the rules, and he keeps seeing the Empire not do their jobs correctly. They're not harsh enough. They're not strict enough. They're not controlling enough. And he rises up the ranks. He gets promoted. He gets demoted. There's all of this stuff. And I found myself being like, oh, man, I really hope that he figures some stuff out. He's the bad guy. That's the whole point. He has a crush on this Nazi lady who is straight up in the Empire Police, and her job is to find out the rat insurgents and torture them, actually. And he tells her, hey, I like you. And she's like, I don't know what to do with that. And you find yourself being like, oh man, I really hope that they get together. So it is very much what I wanted out of a Star Wars thing. Something that isn't about the Skywalkers, something that's about the world. And it gave us that. And I haven't yet seen season 2. And I know for a fact that it's probably my favorite Star Wars thing. And I hate Rogue One. So worth your time for what it is, not for what it's building up to, which is Rogue One, which kind of doesn't matter. You can ignore it.
Yeah, that's true. I think one of the things that kind of put me off as well is it's nice to not be distracted by like the real world and stuff. Oh, it's the best Star Wars ever. It's about the banalities of fascism. And you're like everything else. I could also watch Jane the Virgin. I'll just watch that. It's much nicer. It's just telenovelas. It's watching it going like, this is a very accurate to life. And it's saying a lot of stuff about life now. But also sometimes stuff gets a little bit too close to the bone. And you're like, actually, we need to just watch a nice thing for a bit and escape and run away.
I get that. But to me, it gives me hope. We're living in some really scary and difficult times, and I want a story that can tell me how to dig myself out of feeling bad about how things are and give me momentum about what to do next, at least emotionally. Obviously, the circumstances of the fascism are different, but the core emotional thing of there is a way to resist and there is a way to push through. And to me, in the aftermath of the US election and stuff, I was like, I want to watch that bit in Andor where the one guy, that's another actor I follow, whatever he will do, because he's insanely talented. His name is Alex Lothar, and he's a British theater actor. He plays kind of a bit part, but a very important bit part in Andor. He is the philosopher behind the resistance. He writes a manifesto that becomes the blueprint, the rule book even, for what the resistance fighters are fighting for. And he talks about what it takes to build that movement, what it takes to look at the fascist regime and go, I can imagine something else. And it's a beautiful speech. And I was like, honestly, I just need that injected into my veins right now because all I'm feeling is despair and I can't go through life like this.
That's always the most rewarding parts.
Any other spicy takes from anybody?
Well, hang on, redirect, Your Honor. I've got a question. I would like to ask, given that the 3 Star Wars sequels are equally as pointless, convoluted, have no through lines, are poorly put together, and really just a fight between the 2 directors that didn't like each other, why does Rogue One get such hate, given that it's, based on this judgment, equally as bad as all 3 sequels?
Just vibes.
Just vibes. So they're all but 3 of them looked nice. Okay, cool, fair enough. Yeah, I can take that.
When they spread the new films over a few years, 5 years or so, and there's like in between sort of the Han Solo movie and stuff like that, I think when it's all condensed into a 2-hour instant shock to the system, it's a bit more of a big hit. Quite like the Disney sequel films. I think they're quite nice. Again, also, it's just vibes. That's not for me, whereas other things can be.
Okay, I take that answer.
Does anyone have a non-Star Wars spicy take?
Nothing spicier than that.
No. Chris, you got anything?
I don't think I've got a particular big spicy take, to be honest. Everyone's got different opinions on bits and pieces. I don't think there's been a big one where I've been very down on it and everyone else has thought the sun shines out of it, if you know what I mean. I can get very down the middle with a film where I come out and I'm not quite sure if I loved it or hated it. I just kind of experienced it as a thing. I find it takes a lot for me to suddenly go down that I absolutely despised every moment of this. And normally if I come down that hard on it, everyone else has already.
I'm just going to go with my usual one that makes people gasp of, I don't think Christopher Nolan's as great as other people think he is.
Mm-hmm.
That always elicits a gasp from certain corners.
I fully agree with you.
And I don't say it to get that gasp, I just say it because I think it.
It's always nicer to have a positive, spicy take. I mean, they're a bit more difficult to come along. Basically, it's like, oh, I really hate Jurassic Park or whatever, or this. But I'm trying to think of the opposite one where you're the one person on the hill and everyone's just going like, oh, that was awful. And you're like, no, it was sick. I loved it.
I was like that with Chappie. I really liked the film Chappie, and for some reason everybody hates it.
It's me and the Eternals. I could tell you a lot of things about why I really love that movie and why it really worked for me, but I get it.
I really love Rise of Skywalker, personally.
Yeah, that is a spicy
I liked it.
Also, we watched that in a triple midnight bill, and I'd done like a 7 till 5 shift, and then at 6 o'clock in Force Awakens. And in between each film, I had a bag of Haribo and an espresso. I was exhausted. I was like, yes, cool, ships. They fly now. Great stuff. It's just like suddenly you're on a big roller coaster and also at the circus. And you're like, yep, great, perfect. Cinema. It's a million things.
TikTok on cocaine.
Exactly.
Are there any spicy takes from the chat?
Violet must have one.
No. Violet, please, if you have a spicy take, we want to hear it. I'm drawing a complete blank personally, and so I'm on the MCU Wikipedia page trying to see if I have a spicy take.
I remember enjoying Ready Player One a little bit more than we did on the podcast.
Oh, yeah, we bullied you for it.
I did get a bit of bullying for that one. It's not particularly a hill that I will die upon, but I quite enjoyed it. I did enjoy the books and I did enjoy the film, but I remember not coming out well on the other side of that podcast.
Well, we will move on to our next game. It's Angus up to the podium with his game.
Okay.
This better be about the wet bandits.
Usually is about the wet bandits.
It's a seasonal classic.
A lot of your content for this podcast has been based on Home Alone.
It's true. Well, it might surprise you to find out that this quiz, this game, is not based on Home Alone.
What?
As it's episode 300, inspired by friend of the podcast, Zack Snyder's 2006 movie 300. We're going to play a game I'm calling This is Sparta.
This is Sparta!
Thank you, Chris.
Are we going to get copyright striked for that?
Yes.
Hopefully not. We need to keep all revenue streams open. The point of this game is that I'll read you a statement and you have to raise your hand and tell me if this is Sparta or that ain't Sparta. And there are bonus points available. There are 10 questions, and for every question, if you think it is Sparta, you can get a point for saying this is Sparta. You can get 2 points for declaring it as Gerard Butler just did. I suppose if you don't want to, maybe we can hit the This is Sparta button again and we can hear the glorious line reading.
This is Sparta!
I'll be back in 1 second. I'm going to get myself a quiz aid.
I get a megaphone.
We allow quiz aids.
I'm looking forward to finding out what the quiz aid is.
There's nothing about it in the rulebook, so Airbud rules, I guess, are in play.
I wonder what the quiz aid is going to be.
Hopefully he's got a little kind of sound machine with "This is Sparta."
He's got to come back dressed as Jared Butler.
And for people that are listening to this, he does look exactly like Gerald Butler. Don't watch the VOD.
In which film, though? Plane. He looks like Jerry Butler in Plane.
While Isaac is getting his quiz assistance, Violet's messaged in the Twitch chat saying Ashley Thomas, the nerdy blogger, just texted her spicy takes because she can't log into Twitch, and the spicy take is The Marvels is awesome. That is from Ashley Thomas, the nerdy blogger, so hello Ashley Thomas.
Hi Ashley.
And for Violet, The Last Jedi is my favourite Star Wars, and I love Star Trek Discovery.
Ooh, that is spicy. Good for you. Honestly.
No, that's still Ashley. Sorry.
Not taking
Marvels
credit.
is awesome. The Last Jedi in Star Wars is my favourite, and I love Star Trek Discovery. There we go. No, retreat. Sorry. Strike it from the record.
Excuse me.
I should have told because she had that glow where it looked like she was channeling Ashley.
We're defenders of Star Trek Discovery on this podcast. We did several episodes on it over its 5 seasons.
It was great for a while, and then it lost me quite spectacularly. I'm sad about that, because when it was great, it was great. And then it was just, here's a soap opera plot twist.
Yeah, that's what Star Trek largely is now. Soap opera stuff.
Yeah, that's when it lost me. At some point, I was recounting season 3 to somebody, and I was like, why am I still watching this?
Isaac has returned with a quiz aid.
I did have a pocket guide to ancient Greek myths and legends, which I don't have anymore. So instead I got the book that's in its current place, Your Our Kind of Dog Snoopy. Just in case.
That might help with some of this.
At first I could be like, this could be Sparta, but it also could be Thebes, or it could be Persia, Athens.
It's probably about as historically accurate, I'm guessing.
Yeah, this is Zack Snyder's Your Our Kind of Dog Snoopy. The Dark and Reboot of the Peanuts saga.
Yes.
I almost have that same book. Just can't get to it quick enough. We could bond over it, but I can't get it quick enough.
Everyone grab your Snoopy books. We were just going over the scoring process. So if you think that the statement I've read out is Sparta, you can declare this is Sparta and give me the line reading as well for bonus point. If you think it's not Sparta, you can say that ain't Sparta, that's, and then if you get the question right, you get the point for declaring it's not Sparta, and you can also give a bit of extra information for the bonus point if you think you know the answer to the question. An example, the birthplace of King Leonidas, who led 300 warriors against the Persian army. You'd stick your hand up and say,
this is Sparta.
Exactly, just like Butler. Question 1. An ancient Greek city-state known for its military prowess, warrior culture, and the Battle of Thermopylae.
This is Sparta.
Correct. Do we think that that was Butler enough?
I wouldn't say so.
No? Okay, a point.
I wasn't going for it.
Point for Kat. Okay, question number 2. A popular athletic apparel brand from the 90s known for its jackets and sportswear, often worn by hip-hop artists.
This is not Sparta.
Chris is right, but do you know the correct answer?
Adidas or something?
I'm afraid that's incorrect. You'll get 1 point for that ain't Sparta. That's Starter.
I was going to say Kappa.
Kappa. This is Kappa.
Question number 3. The historic 1215 document that limited the power of King John of England and established certain legal rights.
This is not Sparta.
Okay, Aaron, I think you interjected first with that ain't Sparta.
It's the Magna Carta.
Correct. You get a bonus point.
Oh, no.
I am now completely on board with this quiz.
Moving swiftly on to question number 4. A famous Czech football club based in Prague known for their red and white colours and multiple league championships.
This ain't Sparta?
Craig is correct. That ain't Sparta.
It's a football club. I'm not going to know it.
Actually, I'm afraid that is Sparta. Sparta Prague. I'm very sorry for the mistake I made there. That is Sparta. That is in fact Sparta. Question number 5. A city where women could inherit land and owned an estimated 40% of all property by the classical period.
This is Sparta.
Correct. And I like that line reading as well, so bonus point. Question number 6. A city in Wisconsin known for its annual Butterfest celebration and cranberry farming.
This is Sparta.
Correct. This is Sparta, Wisconsin.
That was more like a William Shatner.
I'll take it.
Okay, I'll give you the bonus point for that. Question number 7. Brides in this culture had their heads shaved and dressed as men on their wedding night.
Is this Sparta?
That's worthy of 1 point.
Sparta.
That is Sparta.
He was never uncertain in that film at all.
No. A very confident man.
Who put a question mark on his prompter?
Moving on, question number 8. The Indonesian capital city, known for its bustling streets and the country's political centre.
This is not Sparta.
But what is it?
This is Jakarta.
Correct. That ain't Sparta. That's Jakarta. Question number 9. A state where political decisions were sometimes made through shouting contests. Officials would determine the winner by judging which side was loudest.
This ain't Sparta?
Incorrect. Anyone like to steal a possible 2 bonus points?
This is Sparta!
Chris, you'll get some points there. Aaron, yeah, I heard you as well. You'll get a point. Why not? Points for everyone. And finally, question number 10. The famous gladiator who led a slave rebellion against Rome in 73 to 71 BC.
This ain't Sparta.
That ain't Sparta? That's...
I am Spartacus.
Correct. Okay, that brings us to the end of This Is Sparta / That Ain't Sparta. As chaotic as ever. I don't know if you were keeping up with the scores there, Chris, if you've got a graphic, but I think I have Aaron running away with it with 9 points. Kat in second place with 4 points. And Chris, I gave you 3 points.
Oh, I got 3 points. I only have myself down as 2. I'll take
the top 3 there. You've podiumed. Congratulations, everyone. You've played This Is Sparta.
Fantastic.
Yes,
that was excellent.
A lot of rhyming. More rhyming than I was expecting.
That was fantastic. Thank you for that.
That's the most Neil Before blog quiz you could have. It's as close to puns as you're going to get.
Well done. There you go. And we got a mention of Zack Snyder. I'm sure people will be very happy about that.
Violet is doing shots as we speak.
Well, no, he's not really a drinking game. He's more just an internet, I don't know.
He's the internet's drinking game. I think we should all be doing shots right now.
It's a content warning just for the internet. At some point, someone will mention Zack Snyder. This talking point, because we did hypothetical scenarios in the 100th podcast, I just have one, because I thought I'd throw this one in. You wake up and suddenly you're famous, but it's for the most ridiculous reason possible. What is it?
Is it for waking up famous?
You're famous for waking up famous?
Yeah. I'm the first person to wake up famous.
Very meta.
It's in a kind of infinite loop because no one knows why you're famous. They just know that you're famous.
No, I don't know. I've just woken up. All these cameras are surrounded. How do you get in?
I don't know what the most ridiculous reason. There's so many people that are genuinely now just in the public knowledge for no good reason whatsoever.
Do you remember there was that terrorist attack in Glasgow in 2004 and that taxi driver kicked the terrorist so hard on the balls he broke his foot? I'm trying to think of something at that level of... It's very silly, but I'm going to tell that story to everyone you ever meet.
He's famous for kicking someone who was already on fire.
Did you not end up with a column in a newspaper where people would write to him for advice and pretty much the answer was, I just punched them in the face?
Probably for the famous quiz show, Is This Sparta? Now on ITV3.
Yeah, probably for being the inaugural winner of that.
Little did I realise that was my speciality here. I had no idea. I should have been leaning into that long before now.
We've had 100 episodes of this quiz show where we're still rhyming things with Sparta.
Sponsored by the Spa newsagent.
I actually don't know what I would be famous for that would be stupid. Someone once suggested that because I can be quite clumsy, me doing an unboxing YouTube channel would be very funny. Because it would just be me dropping stuff.
Especially if it was of a nuclear bomb.
Watch me disarm this nuclear bomb.
Watch me unbox and disarm this nuclear bomb on the bus.
This is pretty much how would we win the Darwin Awards then? Is that what this is?
Not necessarily. You could be benignly famous for something that isn't dangerous.
Could become famous for my mutant ability to always pick a beer on draft that's about to go off tap. That's pretty much my secret gift, so maybe that'll make me famous.
People would be famously annoyed when it's your round. Yeah, it'd be like, oh God.
Yeah, I would be famous because there'd be pictures up everywhere going, don't ask for whatever this guy's about to ask for at the tap. You're about to wait for 20 minutes while someone goes and taps a keg.
That is an annoying superpower. It's like always getting the red lights.
There you go. Famous for the lights always turning red when you're about to... Rubbish fame.
Or the elevator's always on the furthest away floor whenever you're there. That's just bad luck, I suppose.
Famous for bad luck. That would definitely suck.
But yes, I'll launch my unboxing YouTube channel where I'm just chucking stuff about by accident. I could unbox a lot of PR goodies that get sent to people.
And then just drop it everywhere.
Just drop them everywhere, yeah. And then say I didn't like the film so that they never send me them again.
I am very flummoxed because we all have random things, like being from a certain place or being good at a particular skill. But none of it in my mind for myself jumps out in a way that's like, oh yeah, that's the most ridiculous.
We'll move on to our final game then. We have Chris with Imagine a Noise. Chris, explain what your game is.
Yes, it's time to play Imagine the Noise. We should have finished on Sparta and not Sparta and just give it up.
Take it up with random.org.
I will take it up with random.org. I feel we've peaked, and now anything that I can do now will only be a bitter disappointment.
How dare you randomly generate things?
So, for people who normally listen to the podcast, they hear a lovely edited version, unlike this, which is live and therefore unedited and imperfect in many ways.
Unless you're listening to the audio release.
Unless you're listening to the audio release, in which case Craig has perfectly edited this and made it sound awesome.
Throw in a few more This Is Spartas as well.
Extra Spartas in there. For this, what happens is when we go into the spoiler section, you normally hear a spoiler noise. There'll be a klaxon, there will be a sound effect, a clip from the film or TV show that we are discussing that will transition us nicely into the spoiler section. But all we hear in reality is Craig saying the words,
Imagine a Noise.
Imagine a Noise. This is Sparta. Randomly.
Unless it's the Doctor Who podcast where I have my toy sonic screwdriver.
Oh, really? You do it live. Excellent. So normally we just hear Craig saying, Imagine a Noise. So I have decided to bring the noises. That's right, because you, contestants, are going to try and guess the film or TV show that we are talking about based on the imagined noise.
I should probably sit this one out because I'll probably remember most of them.
Craig will probably get many of these. He will chip in. He gets them. Some of these are very obvious and you're going to get them right away. Other ones, maybe not. I'm going to go for a really obvious one first. Our first, Imagine a Noise.
Oppenheimer?
It is not Oppenheimer, no.
Can't believe no one is jumping in with us.
It could count for many, actually, on this one. It's probably been used in a couple.
I can name the franchise easily, but which one?
I would probably give you the franchise if you want to jump in with the franchise.
Sounds pretty Star Trek-y.
It's correct. It is from Star Trek. That was taken from the Picard podcast, but it could be literally any of the Star Trek episodes. So that is absolutely fine. There we go. Point for Aaron on that one. Let's go for our second clip.
Danger. The emergency destruct system is now activated.
Is this Alien 1?
Ooh, you're in the right ballpark.
Prometheus?
Correct. It's Prometheus.
Oh. I think I've used it on all the Alien ones, though.
Is it all the Alien ones?
Could be.
It was off the Prometheus one anyway, so I'm going for Prometheus on this one. Thanks very much. Let's go for this one.
What the hell?
A lot of destruction in that clip. You want it for a second time?
That was a sound that you chose.
Sounds dinosaur-y.
Would it be a Godzilla thing?
It's kind of a big creature.
Some sort of horror door opening and you get a creature at all.
Yeah, I thought it'd be like a Jurassic Park or one of those ones. Because it's like a roar. What's got a big creature in?
I definitely know it.
This is quite a recent one. I'll give the clue that it is a film.
Is it A Quiet Place Day 1?
Very noisy place, that one. No, it's not A Quiet Place.
Well, any of us actually on this podcast, we really should know it.
Yes.
Yeah, crap.
Although you weren't in this case.
I weren't. Oh, thank God.
This is out one of our big franchises.
Is it the big robots fight in Japan against the Rift in the Sea film series?
Pacific Rim, no. I will put you out of your misery. It was from Captain America, Brave New World. You've got the sound of the Hulk roaring, or President Hulk, or whatever we're wanting to call it, in there, roaring away.
I knew the special effects were said to be bad, but good grief.
All right, let's go for, I think, an obvious one.
Hello there.
Got to be Kenobi, surely?
Spot on. That's from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. All right, our final one, going quite far back, this one, and I don't think anyone here is going to get it, but let's try.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
It's a British woman.
Yes, Isaac, it's the famous film A British Woman.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Is it Doctor Who?
Not Doctor Who. Though, very similar to Doctor Who, in a way. Is a TV show, does involve travel in time and space.
I'm Traveller's Wife.
No, we haven't covered that on the podcast. Not yet. Maybe in the next 100. Violet has got it correct in the chat, and she swears she's not drinking. We believe you, Violet. Going once, going twice. Craig, you want to say?
Yeah, it's Legends of Tomorrow.
It is Legends of Tomorrow. There we go. That was our little game of Imagine a Noise. See, it was disappointed after this in Sparta. There was all that build-up for nothing. Congrats to Violet for getting a few of them in the chat.
That was fun. I could just have a generic spoiler noise, but I like to give myself too much work and find
basically
semi-relevant ones. Okay, well, we're down to our last talking point. Since we've reflected on the past and we've played some games and had some laughs, we should talk about the future. What's coming up in the next 100 episodes? What would we like to do? What do people have a burning desire to cover in the next 100 episodes?
We already requested another D&D campaign.
Yes. We can find an excuse to do that.
Yeah.
What film?
Don't know. That's what we need to find the excuse from.
Oh, okay.
So get thinking, Aaron. What would be the film for it?
I've put in for, it is the 30th anniversary of Batman Forever, which I would like to talk about.
Oh, yes.
Ooh.
Yes, that is planned in. We're going to get Bo to host that one. We're going to do a bit of a crossover-ish with Movieversaries, his podcast. So we will do that.
Oh, wow.
How many years is it going to take us to do another 100?
Well, this was 3 and a bit, so 3 and a bit, I guess.
So we've got all the usual annual specials. I probably already know what those are going to be. We've already chosen the next Star Trek one, the next Alien one, the next Star Wars one. We know what it's going to be.
I think that means that within this next 100, do we not get the entire reboot of the Avengers starting again with Captain America now?
Probably. The live-action remake.
This will be the animated reboot. It's gone full circle.
I've been on for the Darren Mooney Doctor Who chats, which have been really fun. I would quite like, though neither you or Darren Mooney would like to do it, a Jodie Whittaker era retrospective.
I think Darren could be convinced.
We've covered the new era, the Rusty Davis Returns, and I've made it clear that although it wasn't very popular, I really enjoyed that era. I think I need to go to defend my turf, defend my Doctor, and put my word in. So I think if there's not Doctor Who coming anymore, if more is needed to talk about, we might have to go a bit backward in time and look at some of the history of.
Yeah. I'd be keen for that. I'm sure Darren could be convinced. He's always eager to turn up and talk about stuff. You just might not like what he has to say on that subject.
Oh, but it'd be fun.
That's certainly possible. We will have more annual donor episodes as long as we continue to receive donations. Thank you very much, Violet, for your generous donations. And that means you get to select an episode. So we are waiting your choice for this year with your panel. Last year, you got your Dark Crystal and Labyrinth podcast hosted by Aaron, who tied it all together very nicely.
Speaking of which, Violet in chat is saying, I'd like you to revisit the idea of putting a film on trial.
Yes, we still need to get that started.
That was a very fun thing we did, yeah.
We never actually got it started, but we have a framework somewhere.
I can't remember what I was going to put up on trial.
It was probably Batman Forever.
It was probably Batman Forever.
Not Rogue One.
Or The Mystery Man, which would be quite a fun film to talk about.
I'm hoping to do more interviews, although that isn't really up to me. It depends what comes my way.
Is there any old or classic films they're kind of difficult to talk about because there's not really an audience for them that you've got a lot to say about?
Well, I think there's definitely scope for more retrospectives because it was fun revisiting things like X-Men Origins Wolverine and stuff. When you have a connected excuse for it, it's quite good. Let's go back to the last time they tried to do this thing or something that inspired this thing, stuff like that. I think there's definite scope for that. And you can make the links as tenuous as you want. This is another film this director did, or this is another film this actor's in where he's playing a similar role. I don't know. All you need is an excuse, really. And it doesn't have to be a very well-connected one.
Solid one, yeah. I think we were at one point planning to do a Hunger Games retrospective when the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes came out, and it didn't happen because I was sick, I think, or something, but I'd still like to do that, not least because I'm fully obsessed with the Hunger Games again, and there is a new movie coming out
there is
next year.
So perhaps a little series of things, or maybe one mega episode, who knows. I'd still like to do that at some point.
Angus, is there anything else outside of your annual commitments that you'd like to get involved in?
Depends how much our audience is keen on the Christmas Writers' Room. We were thinking of formats for the Christmas special every year, and then we've done a few of the Writers' Room, so it depends whether or not we want to continue on with that or think about more Wet Bandits themed games.
Well, that was the reason we went to the Writers' Room, because you were out of Wet Bandits quizzes.
Because we'd run out, yeah. I refused to go beyond Home Alone 2. And I still do.
I think the Christmas Writers' Room format's quite fun. We just come up with a Christmas movie.
We could do a Writers' Room for it to choose a genre.
Yeah.
Any other time of the year.
Summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
Yeah, a classic 90s summer blockbuster, Writers' Room, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Die Hard clone, they're still making them.
Die Hard on a boat. Die Hard on a plane.
Die Hard in a building. Oh, wait.
No, wait.
Yeah.
I saw that film Cleaner that has Daisy Ridley in it, and it takes her over an hour to get inside the building. That was a whole lot of nothing.
Die Hard in.
Soft play.
With actual babies.
A bouncy house.
What's that? Somebody pitched a Nerf gun movie, which was a standard action movie, but everyone was using the newest Nerfs and treating it like a...
Isn't that Bugsy Malone with the cream pie gun?
Yeah, so a Bugsy Malone style one.
I'm sure all this is already happening.
Stop giving them ideas. Stop feeding the robot.
Someone's made a toy out of this, we're going to do it.
A Die Hard remake, but everyone in the hotel's doing Die Hard. There's like 600 different people just conveniently passing each other on different floors, and they're all climbing out things and running through glass and just having a horrible time. Oh yeah, this is a really good at surviving convention in the hotel.
I would love that movie, actually. High key, I think that sounds great.
Chris, have you any thoughts on stuff that you'd like to do?
Things that I'd like to do? No, I take it as it comes. Before we go off and we see a film, we'll always sit there and have a chat and be like, oh, we really should do a primer for, I think we talked about doing like a primer for Fantastic Four and a few other things that are coming up. And then it's just getting the time to record the actual stuff that's frustrating. So maybe getting the actual time to record some stuff. Let's put that down on the list.
So what you want for the next 100 episodes is for us to manufacture more time somehow.
More time, please. More hours in the day would be lovely. I'll have some of those, please. Thank you. Kat would also like some extra time. I saw her nodding. Kat would like extra time in the day that isn't work related. Let's cut that bit out.
An extra day in the week where you definitely are not allowed to work.
Yes.
It's a creative day.
Only work on fun things. Yeah.
Fun things
that make no money.
Creative day. Yeah, I don't know. There must be some day you could call it.
Well, we might be able to spend some money out of it somehow.
There's always that. I did have some notes, but a lot of it's come up already. More host rotation. I quite like it when other people host stuff. Not because it gives me less work. It doesn't really, because I still have to edit it usually, but more host rotation. It's good to hear other people's way of structuring these things and then letting the panel derail that structure completely. Angus, we discussed the possibility of starting a Halloween special.
Yeah.
We need to do a spooky thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't leave Andrew in charge of it. He'll have us watching some grim, awful horror movie.
Yeah.
Oh, we want it to be fun and scary and spooky.
This horror film is deemed to be one of the best in the world, and 6 people have seen it. And we're going to make up to 10 or something. I don't know.
We're getting a lot of support in the chat for a Halloween special.
Oh.
Halloween special and cats.
So if we can find some way to combine the two, then we'll be millionaires. There must be some kind of cat-like Halloween movie. I don't know. We'll investigate. Any more in the chat, actually? What do listeners want to hear? Does anybody have any ideas of what we could do?
Nerdy Blogger is asking if we've covered gargoyles. That's kind of into your spooky season.
Not really, actually.
Also loving the idea of the Nerf gun movie. Violet is suggesting the top 10 brains on iZombie.
Well, that's very niche because there's only 2 on the panel that have watched it and one of them isn't here. That's no reason not to do it. Gargoyles, I wouldn't say that's a horror thing. It's a Disney animated show from back in the 90s that was very clever.
I liked it a lot back in the...
I don't think it's been commissioned for the film treatment yet, but I would love to revisit it at some point, and yeah, it'd be worth a discussion. Discuss the first 3 episodes and so on. Go back to it. There's definitely more scope for retrospectives, especially when comic book movies are covering specific arcs. We can look at the animated time they did that, like we did with Secret Invasion, Aaron. So Isaac, you've got a couple of ideas that we will end up doing. The Batman Forever one, we just need to carve out time with Bo to do that. Aaron, do you have any things that you'd like to do other than the D&D campaign?
Campaign's a bit of a big ask.
A one-shot, maybe.
Yeah, this is it. The only thing I can think of that we talked about once, there's just no connection to film. But if you really did want to do a game, I think people in this group would have a lot of fun playing the Paranoia RPG.
That was brought up at 200, yeah.
It would have to be film themed. The plot would have to be a bunch of troubleshooters who have been tasked with making a film for the computer. And clearly, therefore, it also goes utterly wrong. It wouldn't be a review. It would actually be a game. But
that'd be fun.
Yeah, we could plan that in. Would it be better doing that as a live stream like this, or just the way we normally do things?
I don't know the practicalities of it. I might have to consult with Dr. Strange and see what works.
Okay. Well, we can put a pin in that, as they say, and we'll come back to that. We'll try and come back to that within the next 100. We didn't come back to it within the last 100. So the trial, some retrospectives, various other things, possibly a Halloween special. We'd have to record that in September and then have it ready. Inside baseball type stuff there. Has the chat said anything further on what they might like to see?
They love the ideas. Love
the ideas. Cool.
Love the ideas and the word cat in capital letters.
There was an episode I was on with Andrew and I edited most of it out, but my cat Spock was in the room and causing a lot of mischief, and Andrew was getting annoyed at the constant disruptions that were happening while he was trying to say something. Andrew, who couldn't be here this evening because he took ill.
Get well soon, Andrew.
Get well soon, Andrew, if you can hear this.
Maybe he's watching.
Yeah. Any more on ideas for upcoming things?
No, that's a good enough start, I think. I'll keep us going.
Cool. Well, that has us reached our end of this 300th podcast spectacular. I just want to close off by saying thank you to all of you for continuing to appear over the last 100 somewhat episodes. The numbering is all out of whack. You'll actually find that this is episode 392 of the entire feed. So we're actually closer to 400 than we are 300.
Let's start another live stream and do the 400 right now.
Yeah. Pull this together in the space of 8 episodes. That's a great idea. That's what I'll do.
This isn't Sparta at all.
The interviews continue to not count as part of the numbering. The term is regular format, and I'm sticking to that. I think that's fair enough. So, like I say, I just want to say thanks to all of you and the people that have been on that aren't here to hear me say it as well. My deepest gratitudes for continuing to show up and talk about stuff that I want to talk about, other people want to talk about, other people want to hear.
And thank you for leading the way.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure.
And thank you to everyone who listens, because I know we have an actual donor and patron, Violet. First of all, thank you for staying with us and hanging out with us from across the pond, I assume, for countless hours, because we don't make short podcasts. And to everyone else who listens also, whose names we don't know.
Yes.
Thank you so much for just hanging out with us and listening to us talk about movies and TV and whatever else.
And girlfriends and boyfriends.
Friends and boyfriends.
Are there any last things from the chat before I close us off?
Lots of hoorays and love for Andrew as well.
Love for Andrew. He will be very grateful to hear about that. Well, that was it. That was the 300th podcast spectacular.
Hey!
Yay!
Hey!
If you like what you heard, please do subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe on YouTube. It will be there. Anywhere you get your podcasts, really, you can definitely like and subscribe. On YouTube, you can definitely like. That's a thing you can do. And most of these things, they have some form of rating system built in. So who wants to volunteer to tell someone how many stars they should leave?
Well, we could do one each.
One each. There aren't that many bits.
A minimum of 5.
Drop in 5 This Is Spartas as well.
5 This Is Spartas, yeah. 5 plastic chests. But that was the accusation on 300, wasn't it?
Okay.
There was some people augmenting themselves.
I think there might have been a bit of painting going on, a bit of yawn spray painting going on.
Yeah, it could have been. Some bronzing.
Maybe.
Also on social media, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter/X, unfortunately, and Blue Sky under Kneel Before Blog. You could also leave a comment on kneelbeforeblog.co.uk, and there is a Discord you can join. What do you think, guys? Should people join the Discord?
Yes.
Give us an engaged community of more than a listener?
Sounds fun.
Stop saying this.
Have fun here. Come on.
I keep saying it because Aaron hates it when I say it.
Jesus Christ, you're the king of anti-marketing.
Well, for every marketer, there's an anti-marketer.
I guess so.
But it's like the rice thing, isn't it? You need one listener, then on the next chess square you need 2 and 4, and then by the time you get to the end of the chessboard, you have more people than it's ever existed in the world. But 1/64 for the way there to everyone. That's not bad.
Or we could turn it into a pyramid scheme. If every listener brings in 2 listeners, and then they each bring in 2 listeners until eventually we rule the world.
That works, yes.
Yeah, I was going to say for more live shows like this, but I don't know how many more of them there will be. But certainly for more deep dive analytical discussions about your favourite nerdy things, interviews, a monthly news podcast, and a bunch of the other stuff that we talked about that we might end up doing over the next 100 or more episodes. I'll just say once again a big thank you to everybody here and everybody not here for contributing and listening and making this thing a reality that continues to exist. I just want everybody to say a big goodbye to the listeners.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
You can continue to join us on Kneel Before Pod.